Hello, hello, hello. What's up this afternoon, everyone? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Fine Tuesday to you all. Good to see ya, good to see ya, good to see ya. What is up, Stone Rain Productions? Derek Zilla, Alex Mateo, Christoph. Welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big soup cheer for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Good afternoon, Seth. I want your opinion on how you would build a Golgari Tokens EDH deck with a Zoni in the center of the web as its commander. Oh, God. I guess off the top of my head, I'd probably go kind of like typical token stuff, doubling season effects, parallel lives, like that kind of stuff to make more tokens. But Azoni in specific also needs a lot of graveyard stuff. So it'd kind of be like self-mill tokens. I don't know. I haven't tried to build Azoni yet, but I think it is a cool commander. Apocalypse. Yeah, it does kind of have the ding, ding, ding of like of a boxing match. What's up, Gear Dude? Puntologist. Happy Tuesday to y'all, and I'm excited. We got a fun one today. So not only are we going to be playing some Standard, we're super close to Mythic. So I've been playing this blue-white clue deck kind of for fun because I like it, and I wanted to see if clues were actually a thing in Standard. So we're going to do a little bit of cluing, just a tiny bit of cluing to see if we can hit Mythic, and we might bounce around. I got some other decks too, which are kind of spicy. I saw this deck. Oh, it was so wild. This like 4-color Sloggerk Legends deck. It is so annoying because it's just looping Atuaras and Besejus and Teknumas from the graveyard again and again and again with Sloggerk. So I put that deck together, which I think could be fun. So we might give that one a try. There was also this super wild, infamous small Japanese tournament, 5-color. I guess it's not even 5-color, is it? It's 4-color technically. But this Insidious Roots Kaya, I don't even know what's going on with this pile of Magic cards. So we're gonna have some fun playing some new Standard today. So that's the plan for today. We also, though, got some big news today that I need your opinion on. So before we start doing clue stuff, Alex Mateo, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big soup cheer for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. What's up, Luzin? How are you? Good to see you today. Puntologist Christmas. So the big news for today. Today's a big Magic news day. Dagamith for the 57th month. Welcome you to the Fishbowl. Big soup cheer for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So we got to talk news before we play Magic because we got big news. So here's the story the best that I can understand is. So today, Hasbro had to post their earnings for last year, and they were really bad. Like, they were like really, really bad. Technically, Magic was up slightly, and digital gaming did well thanks to Baldur's Gate. But in general, Hasbro is just like sinking. Entertainment down 31%. Consumer products down 19%. Basically, they got absolutely wrecked. Hasbro is not a very good company at making money at this point. So they got really wrecked with their earnings. Although Magic and Wizards doing fine, doing well. The best out of probably anyone at Hasbro. So they had these really bad earnings. And then on the same day, we get this article from a Hasbro CEO, Chris Cox, everyone's favorite Chris Cox, losing for the 46th month. Welcome to the Fishbowl. Big soup cheer for you. So here's the biggest news. 2 Universes Beyond sets a year, and not just like, the Commander deck ones. These are 2 Lord of the Rings style premier Universes Beyond sets a year. I am curious what this news means. So this starts next year. We're going to have 2 huge Universes Beyond sets. I know some people are going to hate it just because it's Universes Beyond. My question is, they mentioned specifically, this is going to be one less Magic set. I wonder if this means Universes Beyond in Standard, maybe? Like, if they're dropping a Magic set for Universes Beyond set and doing 2 Universes Beyond, 3 Magic, they kind of have to go in Standard, right? Isn't there, like, no other option? So maybe Universes Beyond coming to Standard. We know Final Fantasy and Marvel are the big ones that are coming up next. So that's the big news. Doubling down, and Hasbro CEO basically said, like, we made a ton of money off Lord of the Rings, so we're going to do more of this because it makes us lots of money. So Universes Beyond double down. They have not ever said anything about any set from Universes Beyond being in Standard. They have never said it. There's been suspicions that maybe with Marvel it could happen. This announcement makes me even more suspicious that could happen. So that's happening. And then, to make things even more exciting, Watsy did a stream today about an upcoming Universes Beyond set, the Assassin's Creed set that releases this summer, and they're doing Aftermath boosters again. So they're essentially doing Aftermath boosters with a slight twist. Aftermath, even Watsy talks publicly about how big of a flop it was, but they're doing Beyond boosters. So Beyond boosters are modern legal universes beyond boosters, but they're also mini boosters. You can see the layout here. You get a few uncommons, a foil land or scene card, a foil rare mythic, a traditional foil booster fun. In some ways, I feel like this is even worse than Aftermath, because at least in Aftermath, you were often getting like 3 rares out of the set, right? This looks like uncommon, land or scene card, 1 rare mythic, 1 foil, 1 booster fun. So unless I guess you high roll in the foil slot or booster fun slot, you're probably getting 1 rare mythic. I am very curious. They would not confirm how much they were selling them for. That's the biggest question. I actually think, hey, what's up, Stally Sal? How are you? I actually think that Aftermath could have done well had they sold it at half price. Like, if they sold it at half price to make up for the smaller packs, I think people would really like it. And we actually see that in the market. Like, if you want to pick up Aftermath boosters now, they're actually selling for half price. Let me see if I can look it up. But Aftermath boosters, yeah, they're selling for almost exactly half price now. So that's kind of the going rate, right? Like, not full price, but half price, because you're getting like half the cards in these little mini packs. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. What happens with these new Beyond boosters. Also, they said specifically, I watched the stream, they said specifically that these are designed for Modern. So it's not just legal in Modern, but they talked very specifically, like, a lot of cards are designed for Commander now. We need to design cards specifically for 60 card format, specifically for Modern. So these cards are designed for Modern. So this almost sounds like Modern Horizons Universes Beyond Aftermath is like the best thing I could compare it to. It's like cards designed for Modern, like Modern Horizons, sold in Aftermath style booster packs, the small booster packs, but with a Universes Beyond IP. So if you ever see Beyond boosters, that's apparently what Beyond Booster means, is modern legal designed for Modern cards. Magic's about to get wild. It is about to get wild. Tuka, buddy, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super for you. Thank you. I'm super curious. So what do you make of all that news? Oh, I'm glad I left Modern behind. Oh no. I really feel like, hey, what's up, turkeys? Good to see you. I really feel like one of two things is going to happen. I feel like either Magic is about to blow up, and I mean blow up like mainstream, all these crossover products. It's going to become huge. Like, it's already a big game, but it's either going to blow up and be like a really big mainstream like phenomena, like we've seen with D&D to some extent. Like, I think it could be that moment for Magic in the next couple of years. So that's one thing that could happen. The other side is it is going to alienate a lot of longtime Magic players. Like, it already does. We even saw that with the Lord of the Rings set. They posted these polls on Maro's like Tumblr about what people's favorite sets are from the last year. And Lord of the Rings got the most 10s, the highest score you could get, but it also got the most 1s, the lowest score you could get. So there are going to be a lot of people who are alienated by the Universes Beyond thing. So I could also see Hasbro just going too far in it, like actually having the opposite effect that they want and actually making things really worse, because they like anger a lot of longtime Magic players and don't actually bring in new people. That would be the disaster. So it is going to be very interesting. These next couple of years, I've been doing Magic for a long time. These next 2 or 3 years, I think are going to be the most interesting out of all the time I've been doing Magic. Avon MTG, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super for you. Thank you. I see a lot of video game streamers starting to play Commander together. Yeah, Commander is definitely taking off for sure. Anyway, let's do our reminders and we start playing Magic, and we talk about all this as we go along and everything else. Replay YouTube. That's where you can find all the old streams, including this one of the future. Normal YouTube. Tons of stuff going up on there. We finally started doing Murders of Karlov Manor stuff. A reminder that our sponsor today, Power Rangers crossover. That would be kind of sweet. Modern Legal? I could do Modern Legal. It'd probably be like a mini set. Ooh, Fallout pre-orders now. Oh yeah, also Fallout spoilers start next week. If you need some Magic cards, you can get them over at cardkingdom.com/mtggoldfish. So thank you to Card Kingdom for supporting the show. And anyway, let's do a little bit of Magicking. Let's see if we can hit Mythic with some clues. Hey Seth, feels like forever since I've caught one of these. It's been a minute, Mormon Freeman. How are you? Good to see you. I dislike the Lord of the Rings cards because of the multiple legendary characters with little to no play. You know what I dislike about the Lord of the Rings cards is so many legendary creatures with the same name in the same set. There's just too many. There's too many Gandalfs and Eowyn's and all these legends. There's like 5 each. It's just overwhelming. So Seth, is it true that you guys are moving away from non-arena formats for all types of content? No, that's not true. Why? What? No, no, that's definitely not true. I think I just haven't enjoyed playing. I haven't enjoyed playing modern as much recently. Like a lot of it comes down to what I enjoy playing. There's some modern coming up on Friday though, so there's definitely non-arena formats in the mix. I just have been enjoying like timeless lately, and now we got new standard cards. So it's not like something about getting away from moto formats or anything. It's just kind of what I've enjoyed playing lately. Every year of Magic and what will kill Magic that year video. Yeah, seriously. That would actually be a good video. I should probably do that. So what is the idea of this deck? So we're playing a clue deck right now. See if we can get some clue mythics. And the idea of this deck is basically make a bunch of clues. Like, we have so many clue producers. Novice Inspector makes a clue. Denick makes a clue. Elquist Prof, one of our big payoffs, the repeatable Sphinx's Revelation on the battlefield, makes a clue. Ezra makes clues and lets us turn our clues into protection and lifelink. So that's kind of the goal of the deck. We can also turn our clues into creatures with Zotea Gif or with Case of the Filch Falcon. We can turn Subterranean Schooner into a real creature with Case of the Filch Falcon. So it's basically like blue-white artifact synergy, clue synergy deck. And the upside of this deck is we get cool creatures, we get to play a bunch of new cards, and we don't just get wrecked by Sunfalls and so forth, because we can counter them when they go to wrath our board. So that's the main goal of the clues. Okay, good to know. Just some stuff that was in the comments of one of your videos. Oh, I must have missed that. What was in the comments? I must have missed those. I didn't notice those comments. I must have missed those ones. But yeah, so I mean, so if you're someone who really loves modern, I expect we'll see a lot of modern this summer, because for me, modern's been kind of in a slow, just like a slow Modern Horizons 2 dominated spot where it's kind of the same stuff over and over. It's just rhinos again and again. And the cards are so powerful, it's very difficult to play janky fun things in Modern at this point. At least that's been my experience. Really difficult to do the janky fun things. So it's kind of made me play Modern a little bit less. But this summer, we're going to be getting Modern Horizons 3. We're going to be getting Assassin's Creed Beyond boosters. So we're going to get a lot of new Modern stuff coming up. What about Normalize in this deck? I actually think that it's just worse than Make Disappear. Like, in this deck in specific... we have Spyglass Siren and Novice Inspector that we can use for sacking, and getting 2 copies of it, I think, is just better than No More Lies. So in a deck like this that has a lot of sackable creatures, I think that No More Lies is just worse. I think No More Lies is better in a control deck if you don't have creatures to sacrifice, but if you got a bunch of sacrifice fodder, I actually think it's just worse than Make Disappear. Would you ever do one of the Arena Open events? Maybe. Would you like to watch an Arena Open event? I'd be down if that was something people were interested in. We just don't really play competitively. The only reason we're kind of going for Mythic now is we're super close. And if I'm like 2 or 3 games away from Mythic, it's really hard to just like do against the odds and get wrecked and drop all the way back down. So hopefully we hit Mythic, and then below Mythic is like the best place to play at Magic Arena. It is the absolute best place to play, because you got all the people who already made it there. They're not people who are trying to get like top 1200 or whatever, but they don't have any pressure to like play the broken decks or whatever to try to get to Mythic. So low Mythic is like my absolute favorite place to play. I think it's like the perfect play. You're playing against good players with real decks, but they're also experimenting, trying new things. So that's why I'd like to hit Mythic, honestly, if we could, just because I think it's like such a good place to play at on Arena. Hey, Seth, what do you think of this deck built around War Leader's Call, the new Tisa and Oni called Anvil? Ooh. It's fun to watch you play competitively from time to time because it's not something we usually see. Yeah, we'll have to do a, hey, see you, Sally Sal, have a good dinner. Yeah, maybe we'll do an Arena Open. There is something on the horizon that I can't talk about yet, but it's on the near horizon, like within the next month. That's a little bit more competitive, that's going to be coming up. I'm really excited about it, but I can't say what it is yet. There's rules and timing to this stuff, but there is something a little bit more competitive, but also still super fun, that I'm going to be doing soon, that I will let you know about as soon as I can. Has anyone ever played with Horde in EDH? It's a variant where you and the other players get 2 or 3 turns to set up, and you play against each other. However, there is an all-zombie Horde deck you've played against. I've never even heard of that. I mean, that sounds neat, but I've never heard of it. Has anyone played Horde? Hey, what's up, Win Matt? How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. Schooner. Go. He said, I'm getting some upgrades for my all-time favorite deck. I'm going to trade Defense of the Heart into Bramble Sovereign and Nyx Bloom Ancient to make 20 Nyx Blooms. Ooh, you know what you need to play, Mega Magikarp? What about Doppelgang? Did you see the Doppelgang? The Doppelgang budget magic yesterday? Doppelgang's a really good, especially with Nyx Bloom. But what is our opponent doing? Hidden Nursery. Wait, are they is this her Doppelgang budget deck? Are they playing the budget Doppelgang deck in best of 3? Oh god. I mean, I think we mill the Get Lost. I don't know what our opponent's up to at the moment, but that Hidden Nursery does scare me. Not a Doppelgang is pretty cool too. Oh, they're playing my Doppelgang. All right, yeah. I mean, sure. Oh no, we're gonna lose to our budget Magic deck. We're gonna lose to our budget Magic deck. It is happening. Oh, that's the cave too. Oh, this is definitely our budget Magic deck. Well, let's play another Inspector. Let's play a Restless Anchor Mage. Let's crew up our Subterranean Scooter. Hit you for 5. Explore into a Make Disappear, which we are going to keep because it's really good against Doppelgang. They're doppelganging us. So how was everyone's weekend? How many of you watched the Super Bowl? Did you enjoy it? I was surprised. They said the Super Bowl was the most watched TV show of all time. Like, everyone apparently watched it. Yeah, I don't think we want them to ramp here. We know the sweet spots, right? 8 mana, 11 mana. That's where Doppelgang becomes really good. Well, let's play a Siren. Anchor Mage. I mean, we really only got to survive a couple more turns. Get in, hit ya. Danik to the graveyard. Opponent down to 8 past the turn. I'm playing a Peregrine Took Slime Against Humanity deck. Ooh. Yeah, I gotta figure out Slime Against Humanity. There is Slime Against Humanity stuff coming up. Do we counter this? They gain 4 life. Yeah, I don't think we can counter it. Sure. The Doppelgang deck was awesome. Made me think, what's the best edition for best of 3? I had a similar question for the budget Caves deck you played for LCI. I think it's going to be probably counter spells in the sideboard, ways to protect. I mean, there's also potential. We talked about it a little bit in the article on the site about yeah, we can crack the clue, I think. We also talked a little bit on the article on the site about going more on the cave plan, which I think could also be good. Sid Wayne, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super chat for you. Thank you. Well, all right, another Siren. Crew the boat. Go beat downs. Has anyone figured out a good way to slime against humanity? I saw like Strictly Better MTG and Daquan, a bunch of people talking on Twitter about how they tried to build slime decks and they were just awful, horrible. All right, they're going to bounce the boat. Sure. Now we get to get in for 6. I mean, as long as they can't doppelgang us, it can't go too wrong. So opponent goes to 6. We replay the Schooner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, they know about the Make Disappear, so I imagine they just don't even try to doppelgang. I tried Slime, but it didn't work. At least I got the best win ever. The thing about Slime is, 3 mana. I really wish it was 2 mana. Did I watch the finals of regionals this weekend? I did not see the... I think we just countered this. I didn't see the finals, but I saw a lot of the tournament. What do you think? Speaking of Modern, what do you think about the Leyline of the Guild Pack deck? I'm still not sure if that deck's. I don't know if you saw it, but the Leyline of the Guild Pack Sign of Draco plan. I'm still not sure just how good that deck is, but when it goes off, it looks unbeatable. I imagine, like, I think you just play more Wraths and Edicts and you beat it, probably. So I think the meta adjusts to it, and it's probably... Oh, what's the Leyline deck? Ooh. So there's actually a couple of them. My favorite... I don't think we talked about this deck before. Did we talk about the Leyline Infect deck? The Leyline Infect deck is one of the wildest decks I've ever seen. Like, literally. I don't know. It's coming up. That's the deck we're playing on Friday for Mucha Brew because it's just so ridiculous. I don't know how we can avoid it. So here's the good. So this is the good Leyline deck. Oh, this one doesn't even have Leyline. Where's the Leyline build? So the idea is Leyline of the Guild Pack makes all your creatures all colors. Scion of the Draco says each creature you control has vigilance if it's right, hexproof if it's blue, lifelink if it's black, first strike if it's red, trample if it's green. So ideally you start with Leyline of the Guild Pact. It makes all your lands all types, so you can play Scion of the Draco on turn 2, and all of your stuff has vigilance, hexproof, lifelink, first strike, and trample. So your Territorial Kavus, your Nishoba Brawlers are just like the most unbeatable threats that have ever happened. So that's like the competitive version that people have been playing Leyline of the Guild Pact. Let's sideboard real quick. So Doppelgang. How do we stop a Doppelgang? I guess just counters. I feel like our deck is actually kind of well set up for this matchup. Bring in more counters. Go down Wandering Emperors. Go down. Ooh, maybe a Cryptic Coat. Run it like that. So the janky build, and this is my favorite because this deck is so mind-blowing. Where is... right here. Oh, look at the beauty. Look at this beautiful bit of brewing. This deck, 22nd place in a Moto preliminary. Leyline of the Guild Pact. Literally all colorless lands. There's Escape Tunnel with no fetchable lands. Literally, you have to mulligan until you find Leyline of the Guild Pact, or you cannot cast a spell. I guess you can technically cast Serum Powder, but you can't cast a spell in your entire deck. So you have to mulligan into Leyline, and then you hope that the Leyline lives. And if you do, you play like a Cacophony Scamp and like Blessing and Nephilim, +5/+5. Gaia's Might, +5/+5. Might of Alara, +5/+5. Scale Up, +6. So you have all these combinations of cards that just let you turn 2 kill with Cacophony Scamp or Glistener Elf. So you just mulligan until you find it and like cross your fingers that nothing goes wrong. If it goes wrong, you literally can't cast a spell with your deck, but if it goes right, you might win on turn 2. So good. So good. Yeah, Serum Powder is definitely doing the hard work in that deck. You need the mulligans. What about Slime Against Humanity with Lost Legacy to eat 20 of them in Pioneer Explorer? I think that's, if I was going to do, and we might end up doing this, Slime Against Humanity is coming to YouTube. I will promise you that. It is coming. But if we do like a modern version for Against Odds or something, that might be the plan that I go with. It might be, what can I do on turn 3? Anything scary? Splunking, I guess. Do we even want to counter Splunking? Do we care? You know what? Let's just pass. We'll pass. We'll crack our clue. What commander deck would you play Serum Powder in? I don't think I would ever play Serum Powder in Commander. It would have to be a deck that just cares about having things in exile. Like, if your deck just cares about having things in exile, I think it could be worth playing. Otherwise, the problem is, so in 60-card formats, if you play 4 copies of Serum Powder, you're pretty much guaranteed to be able to mulligan into what you want. But in Commander, you only got 1 Serum Powder, so your odds of doing that are, like, pretty low. Oh, God. Invasion of Zendikar. All right, all right. What are you meowing about, Cease? Come here, Cease. What's up? Come here. Come here. You gotta see the people. It's okay. Come here. Come here. Here, Cease. There you go. Say hi to your fans. Hello. How are you, Cease? Oh, you're clawing my mic, Cease. You're clawing my mic. Don't claw the mic. See, you're good. You're good. Can you meow for everyone? You love meowing. Yeah. Can you give him a meow? Yeah. All right, Cease. Go do cat things. Let's play an archive. Do we want the land? Land is... Yeah, we need more counters, I think. Let's put it to the bottom. Get in with Elquist Proft. Play a Novice Inspector and pass the turn. I know, where's Cat Cam Fan? They're missing the CC cameo. So yeah, the Super Bowl ended up being kind of exciting, I guess. The ending was good. I was kind of like, the Super Bowl's weird. I didn't even really want to watch it. I was kind of like, yeah, but everyone watch it. There's very few like shared experiences like that anymore. You think it's rigged? If I heard there was like a conspiracy theory that what's his name was gonna like get the Super Bowl wing and then propose to what's her name. If that happened, it would definitely be rigged, but that didn't actually happen. So, Seth and chat. I came from Yu-Gi-Oh before Magic. I'm utterly terrified of the wizards treats exile like a slightly harder to reanimate graveyard. You could easily make turn 1 combo kills from banished monsters in Yu-Gi-Oh. How would you even deal with a living death from exile? It's not like Rip Soul Guide Lander would stop it. Watsy, stop making so much stuff. I'll fear will happen someday. Oh, that'll happen someday. That'll definitely happen someday. Hey Seth, just want to tell you I'm piloting your Wrath deck in best of 3 with some updates and it feels great. Oh, I don't know if that's... Well, I guess that's good. I'm glad the deck is working, although I don't know if I'm happy that an all Wrath deck is working, but good-ish, I think. Congrats, maybe. Okay, I think y'all gotta explain what is the appeal of Taylor Swift. I think that I'm just not of the... I don't know. I've never really understood why people like Taylor Swift so much. Maybe I'm too old. Maybe I don't like pop music. I'm more into soccer and the world virtue of... Jeez. All right, yeah. I think... Do you get to keep this? Yeah? Oh boy, we're gonna lose. We're losing to our budget Magic deck. Oh, this is not good. This is not good at all. This is not even a little good. Opponent's at 15 and they have infinite mana. We have a single counter. That's not going to get the job done. We're hitting for 2 a turn. I am pretty convinced we're dead here. She's just a big pop star. What's the appeal of Michael Jackson? I know they're not only are they piloting the Doppelgang deck, they're piloting it to victory, I think. Against our deck that has a million counters. I find Taylor Swift entertaining because she's in her mid-30s, yet she acts like a teen, early 20s. I mean, a lot of people do that, though. She's like the Grateful Dead, but for pop people. Ah, okay. Now that makes sense. Okay, now I understand. I'm actually not even kidding. That actually does kind of describe it. Yeah, Taylor Swift doesn't make a style of music that I, like, personally enjoy that much. So, she's not someone that I listen to, but I certainly respect her ability, like, even if it isn't my jam. Whatever happened to rock music? I feel like there's no guitar music anymore. Oh no. Well, they only got 1 card in hand, right? They only got 1 card in hand. Please just hit a ramp spell. They hit a pick your poison, okay? Oh no, that's actually really good. All right, well, there goes our Ezram. Our clock is very slow again. Opponent. Passing. Well, I mean, if they never find a Doppelgang... Oh my god, more lands. Even more lands. So many lands. Well, to ya. Opponent has infinite mana, but can't really do anything with it. Opponent untaps. This is about to get so bad. Splunking. Okay, sure. Oh, I know what this deck does, and I know how ridiculous it gets. We need more counters. We need more counters. This is about to go bad. I imagine if they're playing best of 3, they're playing counters in the sideboard. Crack the clue. We need like 2 or... oh, another land. Oh, no, oh, no. Oh, no, oh, no. That's an Ezram, though. Ezram? And play the land? And hit you for 2? Can we survive one more turn? About it. Down to 7. Lethal on board. Hold. 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 I mean, if we're going to lose, I want to lose to this deck because Splunking's sweet. Because, oh, God. Oh, God. Look at that mana. Speaking of musicians, what did you think about the halftime show if you watched the Super Bowl? Huh. Okay. Each player chooses a non-land permanent they control. Return all non-land permanents not chosen. How do we do this? Splunking. Do we crack a clue? Do we just counter it and YOLO it? What do you think, chat? Should we just counter it, and if they got the doppelgang, we just let them do their thing and try to win game 3? I mean, if we're going to keep the Ezram, then we don't crack the clue. Because we can Disruption Protocol. All right, we'll try to actually win. I kind of want to see Splunking do it, but let's do it this way. The problem is, so Disruption Protocol, it's 3 mana unless we can tap an artifact. So I think we'll just let it all get bounced. Opponent gets to draw all the cards. 68 mana floating. Hooray. Well, yeah, Virtue of Strength. Gets back a Hidden Cataract. I mean, opponent's going to have a turn. Splunking. Opponent. Yeah, giving Ezra... yeah, we should have sacked a clue for Hexproof, you're right. We would have still had enough mana for Disruption Protocol. That would have been the best play. I haven't gotten any snow. I keep hearing about a storm coming. Well, I guess it didn't matter anyway. I keep hearing about a storm coming to the northeast, but apparently not to me. Well, no longer lethal on board. But also, we haven't got Doppelgang to death, so I guess that's something. Maybe our opponent just doesn't have it? I guess it's kind of... I mean, they're going to find it with these... yeah, I mean, they're going to find it eventually. We just don't have that many counters. Yeah, because they get to keep doing these... oh, yeah, these Cascade lands. Witness Protection. Sure. And do it again. And Cataract into Splunking. Sure. Opponent's up to 11. Yeah, we're not even close to lethal now. At least they didn't have a cave to gain more life. I mean, if this is it, we kind of faded. I don't know how they haven't found a Doppelgang yet. They're halfway through their deck. Double Virtue of Strength. They're doing the whole thing. Oh, now they're gonna flip this too. They have so much mana. Does Arena put a limit on how much mana you can tap a permanent for? I actually don't know if I've ever tested that. I'm actually not sure. That would actually be kind of fun to find out. Okay, there's a Doppelgang. I mean, we gotta try to counter it. They could just go again if they have another Doppelgang. Opponent passes. Well, we'll play an Inspector. We'll crack a clue. We need a counter. We need a counter. Crack the clue. That's not it. Inspector. crack the clue. Come on, Magic Gods. Come on, Magic Gods. It's really got to be not Make Disappear. Make Disappear is not going to do it. A glyph. Well, I guess if they got it, they got it. I guess if they got it, they got it. We can't really stop it. Hit you for 2. All right, opponent. Our shields are down. Feel free. Do the thing. Do the thing. Opponent. Hidden Nursery. Into Consuming Tide. Okay, Consuming Tide doesn't just kill us. We're going to keep the clue. Opponent draws a card. Hold. 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 Doppelgang is just better with Hinata. I mean, Hinata works well with Doppelgang. That's true. But Hinata's also like a lot of colors that Doppelgang isn't. About it. Virtuous Strength. What do you think about the Domain Rhinos list? I had no answers for it at the RC. I'm not convinced that Rhinos is better with Leyline of the Guild Pact. Ooh, Radadropic does sound spicy. And Hinata. And Riku. Put them all together, opponent. Okay, they did it. All right, well, yeah. Okay, yeah. You did it, opponent. We'll let him cast one. Cast your Doppelgang, and then we'll scoop. You can do the thing. I mean, we got to let him cast it once. This is going to be a huge... I mean, this is a token limit Doppelgang. Any timeless builds looking forward to in the new set? What? You win X5. All right, I'm scooping now. Cha! Huh! You have hundreds of mana and you Doppelganged X5. Oh, opponent. No, we're tapped out. Oh no. If you get the chance, you got to go all the way. You got to go all the way. They got to go. Yeah, I mean, if you play the Doppelgang, I am offended. I built that deck. If you are lucky enough to get your opponent playing 8 counter spells to tap down and you have 50 mana, you gotta target every single thing you can with that Doppelgang. I don't even care if you got another way to win the game. You gotta do it. You gotta do it. I found that the game tends to crash if I go above 5. Oh, I guess okay. That's fair. That's fair. If they're doing it to avoid breaking the game, I guess that makes sense. Well, we gotta be aggro, I guess. Have you tried the new Rakdos? I forgot all about him. Have you given him a chance? I have not played new Rakdos yet. I think Rakdos is pretty sweet, but I haven't played it. I haven't played... Oh, what is it? Is it Vein Ripper? What's a big 6-drop vampire? Ugh, this hand's not fast enough. All right. Well, this hand's not great, but it's okay. It's okay. We got a Siren Storm Tamer. And a Cryptic Coat. Ish. I mean, I'm offended they didn't want to break Arena. If that was the logic. If you get a chance to break Arena, you also have to go for it. There's rules. There's rules to this game. So, chat, is Assassin's Creed cool? I've never played Assassin's Creed. That's the next big, well, so we got Fallout spoilers next week. I know Fallout though, because I played Fallout. I've never really played Assassin's Creed. Where is Assassin's Creed on the Universes Beyond tier list from, Lord of the Rings to, I want to say Walking Dead, but honestly, I think I'm going to go with Doctor Who. I think for me, Doctor Who is the lowest tier. Doctor Who, although the Valeyard is sweet. But from Lord of the Rings to whatever, Walking Dead, Secret Lair drop that everyone hated, where's Assassin's Creed on that scale? Is this like a meaningful IP? In 2024, because I know Assassin's Creed, it was really big like a long time ago, right? But is it still something that people are into? It's pretty past its prime. Our opponent is timing out. I'm honestly like, as much as I have mixed feelings about Universes Beyond and think it's either gonna make Magic huge or maybe kill it. How do you feel if you becomes the standard Pioneer? I think it's inevitable. I think it's absolutely inevitable. And honestly, I have so many mixed feelings. I wish the Lord of the Rings set was standard legal. I think that would have been super cool to have that be standard legal. Will every Universes Beyond product be as good as that? Will I be as comfortable with all of them as that? Probably not. But I am fully convinced it's happening. I think it's essentially 100%. Not 100%, but like 95%, 90%. I would be shocked if it didn't happen. And I think that's maybe good. I will actually say I want Modern to change more. My biggest issue I've had with Modern lately, so I know like the heart of this issue is the power of Modern Horizons 2, but the biggest issue I've had with Modern is it's just like you get these handful of really busted cards, and those cards you see all the time, and it's hard to play things that are not busted because they're so strong. I'm actually very excited about Beyond Boosters adding additional things to Modern. Yeah, maybe it would be sweeter if it was Magic themed compared to Assassin's Creed. I don't even know. Maybe Assassin's Creed's super cool and it'll be awesome. But, oh no. Wow. You know what? Did our opponent just do a mic drop? Our opponent might have just mic dropped us. I kind of feel like our opponent... Hey, Cat Cam fan, you missed her. She had her little CC cameo a minute ago. I'll see if I can get her back. I feel like our opponent might have just mic dropped. Like they ran into us on the ladder playing the Doppelgang deck. They Doppelganged us to death. And then they're just, okay, I did it. What more can I possibly do? I'm done. But Seth, you happy about Bowmasters in the one rank? Because they're on par with a bunch of busted MH2 stuff. And you also see them all the time. So, I mean, obviously things can go too far. But... boy, I'm happy that there's different powerful cards. Like, okay, so my dream world of Modern is like going back into time to a place that no longer exists. Like, so my perfect view of Modern is like 2015 Modern or 2016 Modern or something. Modern would, I think, for me and what I went out of the format, be better without Ring and Bowmasters and Modern Horizons 2 and Modern Horizons 1 and like a bunch of other busted stuff like Companions. Like, there's a huge list of recent cards that I think made Modern worse, but we can't go back to that world. It's done. There's no reason to even consider going back to that world because it's just not happening. It can't happen. It just can't happen. So in the world we live in today with Modern Horizons 2 and Lord of the Rings, I think I just want to see more powerful cards added. So I'm not seeing the same powerful cards again and again. I would rather play against, from where we're at now, I would rather play against really busted Ragavan for 6 months or a year and then have really busted Orcish Bowmasters snipe the Ragavan so I don't play against Ragavan as much, and then have, I don't know, some Assassin's Creed card that I can't even think of, you know, dominate the Bowmaster so I don't have to see that again. I think that's the best we can hope for Modern at this point. Seth, if you could ban a card in every format, what would you choose? I would ban Sunfall in Standard, Nykthos in Explorer and Pioneer, and Karn in Historic. Ooh, that's a good question. So you want a rotating format, essentially. I don't want a rotating format, but in the world we live in, I guess I want a rotating format. like I said, my ideal world for Modern is that we didn't have to deal with most of this stuff. And like we didn't have the Evoke Elementals or the other really busted cards. But I think the cat's just like out of the bag now. So I don't think there's a way to put it back in the bag. So in that context, I think having like, I want to see something powerful come out of, do we need to counter this? Probably not. I want to see something powerful come out of the Assassin's Creed set. Like, I want to see something that I can actually play in Modern, and it's different and fun, and it's going to be enjoyable for, you know, a few months, and then I'll probably get sick of it because I'm seeing it all the time. And then I guess the next set comes along and does the same thing, and we repeat the process. I think that might just be the best I can hope for out of Modern in 2023. Wow, but it's gonna go with the triple Blockerino. All right. Well, we'll kill some stuff. Is this Reanimator? They have Galta and Maverin in the sideboard. We definitely cannot let that resolve. Which I guess means we just have to pass, unfortunately. Oh, Cat Cam. Yeah, hang on. Cat Cam, yeah, showed up too late, but there's good news. Cease came back. Hey, Cease. You have a fan. A Cat Cam fan is here. They want to see you. Yeah, say hello. Say hello. Say hello, Cease. There you go. Yeah, that was a good meow. Can you meow? Yeah. Can you meow? There you go. Oh, are you going to attack me? Okay. You can go back to doing your fun things. There you go. there she is. Cease doesn't like being on stream for too long. Actually, Cease doesn't even like being picked up for too long. I don't know if that's normal cat stuff, but yeah, our opponent said a lot of things. Opponent's going off with the emotes. Crimming, I call it. Opponent descended, makes a treasure. We draw land, which is good. So we can, I guess, play a Cryptic Coat. Hello, opponent. Hello. We played a card. Yes, it's a get lost opponent. Mute. Where's the mute button? You know what, opponent? You know what? Grab a leg. Grab a leg, opponent. You should upload the clip of CC knocking over your cards from a few weeks ago to the main channel. Oh, I should make a short out of that. You're right. That was pretty funny. There's actually... The Cyclonic Rift actually has claw marks in it. There's a picture proving the claw marks. All right, opponent. Gonna make a map. I don't know how our opponent has time to play their cards between all the emotes. They're gonna haste it? Okay. Wow, I think we're losing to this. They haste and then they get to descend. We're kind of getting beaten down here. Opponent gets in, and I'm too afraid to tap down because if they haste up this Galter and Maverin from the sideboard, we get super wrecked. I think we actually block this Scallywag. I think we gotta keep that from descending. All right, down to 18. Yes, Galter and Maverin in the graveyard is scaring me. Well, we'll pick up the coat. Seacom Coast is good. We can't really Ezram yet. I guess we just have to Cryptic Coat again. It essentially is a Cyclonic Rift signed by Cease. Well, we'll hit you for one. Down to 15. Oh, are they playing? Oh, they might be. Vampire. Pirate. It is. It is a Throne of the God Pharaoh. Or Throne of the God Pharaoh. Throne of the, yeah, Grim Captain. Oh, they are. Opponents doing their own against odds over there. They're going to attack with their land? Oh, they're going to map it. I see. Sure. Wait, so how does Throne of the Grim Captain work? What happens... What happens if they... If they draw Throne of the Grim Captain, does it just go off? Oh, we're gonna... Oh, it has Menace. We can't even block that. Well, I guess we block the Freebooter. Then, get rid of that. Let me look up Throne of the Grim Captain. Oh, the other news we didn't talk about. Throne of the Grim Capitan. All right, opponent, Scries and Treasures. So mill. It costs 2 mana. You got to craft with the Dinosaur, Merfolk, Pirate, and Vampire for 4. Then you get the Grim Captain, which is pretty good. We did it for Against the Odds. I remember it not being as unbeatable as I was hoping it would be, but Untapped is on. Is it working? All right, well, pick up the coat. There's the Throne of the Grim Captain, so we cannot let that resolve. Duskrow's Reliquary. Huh. Well, play the Cryptic Coat again. Duskrow's Reliquary. Sack the map. Get rid of the Sentinel. Go to combat, hit ya. I mean, do they have the right creature types? Pirate, merfolk, dino, vampire. They do. Oh, they have it all set up. Oh, we might be dead. We might be dead. Opponent, Throne of the Grim Captain. I mean, we gotta counter it. It's our only choice. But if they have a second one, hold. Oh, Trumpeting Carnosaur. Okay, well, it's not a Throne of the Grim Captain, but it's still pretty bad for us. Okay. Oh no. Oh no. The Mythic Dream might be dying. It might be dying. Well, Darnett. Okay, opponent is completely out of cards. Completely out of cards. They do have a Carnosaur. And they get to haste it up. So we're taking Infinite. Down to 4. Well, playing Island. Playing Ezram. Hope that Ezram can keep us alive past the turn. Opponent. Breakout. Okay. Wait, is Throne of the Grim Captain a good card now? Well, Darren Epic here. I'm going to ping us. And fires up the land. Mm-hmm. And, okay, so now we got to think. So we're at 3, so we have to block the Carnosaur. Ugh. And lose our Ezram? That's not ideal. So we double block Carnosaur, give it lifelink. If we block... Yeah, we have to. All right. Well, block and block. And then lifelink it up with a clue. Yeah, I mean, this keeps us alive for a turn. But we're still in a pretty bad spot. Because we lose the Ezra. And we drop to 2. And they still have a lethal board because of this Menace land. So we just can't make enough bodies. Yeah, we just lost to... we lost to... oh, to the Grim Capitan. There's no way out of this, right? Am I missing anything? We can play Alquist. I mean, I guess we got to crack the clue. Have you ever thought about making a Commander podcast about timing? Like when to cast spells and stuff. Hey, what's up, Max? Maxie, how are you? What, I know, Jack. Yeah, that would be interesting. I'm trying to... Ask me a specific question. I'm trying to think. So, like, what would when to cast spells? Like, should you cast like Brainstorm? Okay, should you cast Brainstorm main phase or on the end step, stuff like that? Yeah, that would actually be really interesting. So let me ask you something, chat. This is something we've talked about internally a bunch of times, and it's kind of backed up by the data. a little bit, but I've never really asked you about it, and I'm curious what your take is. But first, we have a new donation from uh-oh. Where's our donations? From Lucid with the $5 donation. Seth, I was designing a commander for a mill deck. I've tried to make it work forever. I like the card, but I made it too strong. Would love your feedback. Oh, thank you for the donation, Lucid, and I will pull it up. So unfortunately, we don't actually have... We don't actually have a lot of answers to the Throne of the Grim Captain. I think our opponent, they might have broke it. I think our opponent might have just broke standard. How do we stop this? Like Sunfall, we can play a dirty Sunfall or two to try to answer it, but I feel like we're about dead. I feel like we might be about dead. We just can't beat it. The little removal spells. Yeah, I guess we go Disruption Protocol. Let's try it like that. Let's look at this card. So the goal was to design a commander for a mill deck. Lock Deep Queen Emery. So 4 mana, 1/2 Merfolk Wizard with Flash. As long as that opponent has 4 or more cards in it, a graveyard has 4 or more cards in it, each spell with mana value less than the number of permanent cards in that player's graveyard are countered. Oh, that... I don't know if it's like... So it's probably too strong, and it even has Flash. And then you tap it to build a card. Wait. Each spell with a mana value less than the number of permanent cards in that player's... Doesn't this just, like, hard lock? Yeah, I mean, it's symmetrical, but you can build around that. Like, if you want to keep your own graveyard empty or whatever, there's ways to do it. I think that card would be... So I think it's too strong, but I think the bigger issue is people would hate it. Like, it's a card that most people would find unfun. I have a high tolerance for prisony lock style cards, so I could understand it and get behind it. But I think that the general commander populace, this card would be a non-starter. How could we fix it? Do you have any suggestions, chat, on how you could fix it? As long as an opponent's graveyard has 4 or more cards in it, each spell with a mana value less than the number of permanent cards in that player's graveyard are countered. How would Wizards do this? Let's say they wanted to actually make this card. No Flash, but even with no Flash, I think it's busted. I think it's still a bit much with no Flash. So I don't know if that solves it, but no Flash would be a start. That's probably the most likely fix would be the first spell cast each turn or something. Even that, I think people would get salty about, and maybe it would be a bit much, but, well, play the Inspector. Unfortunately, our opponent gets to get down the Throne of the Grim Capitan and start milling. So what does this turn into? Oh god, they just milled Vampire Merfolk. So this turns into a Menace, Trample, Lifelink, Hexproof. When it attacks, we get a second non-land, and then you get to put exiled card with it onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. Oh yeah, that's very bad. Oh, we're about to get crushed. Hey Seth, I'd love your thoughts on my standard Rotodrobic Jax's Mondrak deck. I'm wanting to tune up the sideboard for best of 3. That's another... Oh my god, that's another creature type. Oh no. Wait. Oh, wow! That's all of them. That's it! Does this do anything? Yeah, I don't think there's any way we can stop this now. You know what we probably should have done? I guess, is we probably should have glyphed it last turn and then try to get lost it. The captain has hexproof though, so we can't even stop it with get lost. That doesn't do anything. Wow. Oh, Sunfall. Okay. Okay. Come on. We need to draw land here. We need to draw a land right now, right here. Land? No. Death. Death and destruction. Rotodrobic in Standard A. Rotodropic's such a cool card. That looks sweet. So I would say, actually, the sideboard doesn't look bad. I think the duresses are the most important thing. So the big issue right now in best of 3 standard, you're gonna run into is, wait, what are we get losting? Get lost doesn't hit. I mean, this has hexproof. So what are we trying to get lost? Oh no, get lost. Destroy target creature, enchantment, or planeswalker. Artifact is not one of the types. We can get enchantments. Yeah. We're not very good at drawing lands though, apparently. Yeah, we're super dead. All right. Well, that was interesting. That was interesting. Yeah, the sideboard actually looks pretty good. I like the sideboard. Yeah, the main challenge I think with this deck. So when Rotodrobic first came out, I actually tried something very similar, Jaxis, Mondrak, Rotodrobic. The big problem I ran into, and you might run into this too, is just there's so many 4-drops. The curve is so clunky because you got like Jaxis at 4, Mondrak at 4, Rotodrobic at 4, even Sheoldred at 4. They're just all the cool things cost the same amount of mana. It would be so much sweeter if one of them costs like 3 mana. It would just make the curve so much more functional. Yeah, we lost to the Grim Captain. Oh boy, we're getting crushed. We are getting crushed. Yeah, but the idea is really cool. I like the idea. And Rotodrobic and Mondrak are just really fun cards. Wait, what am I doing? Oh, I think our opponent just likes emoting. I think our opponent's just a fan of the emotes, which is fine. Some people like emoting. Yeah, Grim Captain it's a neat card. It's not a good card. We've tried. It's really funny when it works. The big problem with Grim Captain is, I mean, we couldn't do it there because we were just so mana screwed. But the biggest problem with Grim Captain is you can still just block it. So it still dies, and it still dies to Sunfalls and Farewells and all that stuff. So it actually has like kind of some concerning issues. But when it actually goes off, it's very cool. Could they color shift? Well, they might take the glyph, actually. Maybe, perhaps. Could they color shift Spell Pierce to white and not break the color pie? I mean, it'd break the color pie, but I think it would be good. Am I a hypocrite? Probably. But I honestly think that more soft white counters would be a good thing. One of the things, and I don't think we can get there now. I think it's too late in Magic's design process or whatever. Wow, they let us keep it. They took the cryptic coat. Well, I mean, we're gonna just glyph it up, I guess. Get in there for 5. Schooner aggro down to 15. If Magic was being designed today and there wasn't so many years of design behind it, I honestly think one of the mistakes they made in the early days was giving blue a Monopoly on stack interaction. And we see like touches of that, right? We saw like Reprieve as a white counter spell. Opponent gets in. Hits us. Draws some cards. But we saw Reprieve. We've seen stuff like Mana Tithe. We've seen stuff like Tybalt's Trickery in red. But I honestly think giving blue the only stack interaction was a pretty big mistake of early Magic design. I think that might be one of those things that needs to be evergreen. Kind of like how every color can hate on the graveyard or whatever. I think stack interaction might be in that same category where we actually just need every color to be able to do it. Opponent, Case of the Stashed Skeleton. I mean, we probably got to kill the Gix. Opponent. We probably got to kill the Gix. We would like our Cryptic Coat back, but I think it's a little late for that. I mean, do you think Magic would be better if everyone had counters? Every color? Well, alright. Kill the Gix. Can't let our opponent just keep drawing all these cards. They're already pretty far ahead in cards. Green originally had a Stifle. Yeah, what is the... Oh, doesn't green have, like, things that counter... Kind of like white gets, where it can counter things that target permanents you control. What's the card? Avoid Fate, maybe? All right, they're going to Candy Grapple the Schooner. But we get to discover 3 into a Schooner. This does turn on their tutor, which is a little awkward. We drop to 16. Opponent solves their case. We draw a pretty useless land. But we get to crew up our ship. Go attacking. Oh, even more useless lands. Okay, kind of scared about our opponent tutoring here. Pass the turn. Warping Whale. I mean, at the same time, I don't think you can just give colorless count. Like colorless counterspell would be too much. Like when it comes to color pie breaks, I kind of can get behind the idea that every color should be able to do more or less everything, but I think that there should be 1 or 2 primary colors that are really good at that thing, and the other colors need to be way worse at that thing. I think the problem that I run into with stuff like Feed the Swarm is I think Feed the Swarm... Oh, jeez. I think Feed the Swarm is just way too good for being an off-color enchantment destruction spell. It's as good as a very close, I mean, arguably better, I would say, than green enchantment destruction, white enchantment destruction, since it also kills creatures. So that's kind of my issue. So it's not so much like colors shouldn't be able to do things. The problem is more colors do things too well that they shouldn't be able to do. So when I picture white counter spells, going back to the original, white Spell Pierce is probably too good, but Mana Tithe, that's like absolutely perfect, right? Like that's... Feed the Storm is not off color anymore. I mean, it is though. Like by definition of the color pie, it is. I know WotC just says, you know, we're almighty WotC and the color pie is whatever we say it is. But historically for Magic throughout the years, black being able to efficiently blow up an enchantment is a color pie break. So all that to say, I don't think that like black needs to not ever be able to kill an enchantment, but I do think that black needs to be meaningfully worse than green and white at killing an enchantment. And I don't think it is enough meaningfully worse, which is where it becomes a color pie break for me. Visitrix, that card is so funny. Was Visitrix ever playable? Well, okay, so we can play an Elquist Proft. We can play a land, we can play a Denic system, and pass the turn. I mean, I guess there's some... If we get to untap with Elquist Proft, and rev for 4, life becomes much better. I'm not feeling confident that we do get to do that, though. What about black making an opponent sack an enchantment? I think that's a better way of doing it, but there again, I would hope that there's a meaningful tax on it, if that makes sense. Like, if black's gonna be an enchantment edict, I think that's better than target enchantment destruction, but I still want it to be a little bit more overcosted. Can Jide be unbanned in Modern? Yes, easy. The idea that an equipment that is 2 to cast and 2 to equip could be a problem in Modern kind of blows my mind. I guess the concern is little creature decks being pushed out of the format, but to me, that argument lost pretty much all respectability with things like Orcish Bowmasters, things like Fury. Like, if WotC's overarching concern is, won't you think of the poor weenie decks? Then they wouldn't be printing those cards. So the argument of like, oh, the poor little creature decks, it just doesn't really hold up for me anymore because of that in specific. Well, I mean, we get to rev. We get to rev for 5. Although we are super far behind on board and we're not dirty Sunfall players. At least in the main deck. They're in the sideboard. Hey, Seth, have you seen the new 2-mana World Shaper Aftermath Analysis? Yeah, that card's really cool. That's a card I definitely would like to build a deck around. It is a little expensive, right? Because it is 4. Well, 1, 2, 3. Well, rev for 5. But without a sweeper, I'm not sure that this actually really gets us out of this scenario. We rev for 5. We draw a bunch of random creatures. No removal for Sheoldred. Yeah, I think we're dead. Even if they make a card that does that enchantment edict effect, like Invoke Despair, they made it way too powerful. Yeah, I mean, Invoke Despair is definitely way too powerful. Oh. Yeah, there's not a... Yeah, we're too far behind in this one. We gotta go to sideboarding. We have a new donation from DPNY with the $5 donation. Hey, Seth, can you take a look at this in progress build? Would it work? Is it unfun? Am I missing anything? Well, DPNY, thank you so much for the donation, and I would love to take a look at your deck. Ooh. Ohir Axelon pings A. So first off, no, I don't think it's unfun. I think burn is a perfectly acceptable commander strategy. I don't know. Does people get salty about burn? What do you think, Chad? Is that actually a concern? I've never heard burn being like a salty, Shadowband archetyping commander, so I assume that it's okay. People play Torbrand, and Torbrand's like pretty brutal. Yeah, I mean, I would look at Torbrand, because I think the way that Ohir Axelon works with a lot of Torbrand stuff. I think you got a lot of the good stuff in there already, so I think you're on the right track. But if you look at like EDH Rec Torbrand decks, you might get some other ideas. I've seen like Mana Barbs, any of those like repeatable, do a thing, take damage stuff. Really, really good in decks like that. So yeah, that looks sweet. Thank you for the donation, by the way. Moonice, welcome to the fishbowl. Yeah, the bot's dying. Choose one of nothing. Welcome to the fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big soup chip for you. Thank you. All right, let's do a little trimming. Cut some counters. Bring in some more removal. Ooh, and wow, we rev for 5, and it wasn't nearly good enough. We might switch decks after this. See, Mormon Freeman, I'm glad you made it today. I'm glad you made it. Someone to back up my unpopular Feed This Form opinion. Goblin Bombardment's so cool. I actually felt a little bad that I did the Goblin Bombardment deck. I didn't think it through because I really like Insidious Roots, and I think Insidious Roots is probably also going to play Goblin Bombardment. Oh, someone asked about what am I hyped for from the new set for Timeless? I don't think there's a ton from the main set that I'm super hyped about. There's some interesting stuff, though. Jack of Trades. Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. There is some interesting stuff on the list and in the special slots. Like, so show and tell, that's probably the biggest timeless impact. So that's an easy one. Show and tell I think is huge. Ooh, well, here we go. Glyph up the clue, and we are the aggro deck now. Even if our opponent, Zoteic Glyph's actually pretty good. Even if our opponent blows it up. Okay, they're just gonna kill the Denic. Sure. But now we smash it for 6. Oh, you know what I want to build is like, you know what we should build is like an Soul Artifact style deck. That might actually be kind of good. The new set for Timeless. There's really not much from the new set for Timeless, honestly. I would say, do we just attack? I think we do. I'm worried about a Sheoldred coming down. Yeah, let's just attack with the Glyph and see what our opponent does. If they trade, I think that's fine, and then we have removal left over for Sheoldred. All right, so Preacher down. All right, we get another Inspector. Yeah, there could probably be a Sweet and Soul Artifact deck in Standard. Do you think that Reckoner Bankbuster is still busted in this meta? It might be fine. I feel like Reckoner Bankbuster was the least offensive of all the cards that got banned last year. I think it was necessary because Rakdos just had such a stranglehold on the format that we needed to ban multiple things that were really good in Rakdos. With the current meta, I think it'd be fine. It would still be very strong, but I don't think it would be broken. I used to love Inspector Gadget. I got to see that at my grandmother's house when I was a kid. Whatever happened to Inspector Gadget? Oh, did you see they're doing another Kung Fu Panda? I saw that from the Super Bowl. There's another Kung Fu Panda coming out. Kung Fu Panda 4. Yeah, that and Benji. That's all we'd watch. I don't know what Jack Black is up to these days. Jack Black's a funny guy, but I mean, they probably just gave him a dump truck load of money. But I don't know. Whenever you get a 4 behind it, has there ever been a good 4? Give me one series in the history of humanity that had a 4 that was actually good. I guess you could argue maybe like, I was going to say Star Wars, but I don't even know if Star Wars. Is there any good 4s? John Wick 4. I've never even watched John Wick #1, so I can't speak to that. I have heard good things about Toy Story. Rocky 4? Is that the Adrian? Is that the Adrian one? Star Trek 4. Okay. So maybe there is a good 4. It seems like Star Trek. Ooh, Saw 4. I kind of like horror movies, so I've watched all the Saws. What one is 4? I can't remember. They all kind of blend together because they're all very similar. He fights the... Wait, does he litter? Oh, it's the one where he fights like the Russian dude. Okay. Scream 5 was good. But what about Scream 4? Yeah, I guess there's probably... Oh, you know what I realized? Man, you ever watch Boondock Saints? Boondock Saints, I used to love Boondock Saints forever ago when it first came out. I thought Boondock Saints was like, oh, it's such a cool action movie, yeah, whatever. I really like Boondock Saints. So I realized I was scrolling through, the streaming services the other day, and I realized there's a Boondock Saints 2. And I was like, oh, cool. I'm gonna check this out. I used to love Boondock Saints. I've never seen 2. Let's put this on tonight. I swear it is the worst movie ever made. It is unbelievably bad. Like, I don't even know if it counts as a movie. Like, it's so incredibly bad. The only thing I think that might be worse is like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is also, that was another one where like original Texas Chainsaw Massacre is like so good, such a classic horror movie. Not even funny bad. It's just like you feel sorry for the people acting in it bad. Just like, oh, it's bad but funny, like Ed Wood or whatever. Like that's, I can get behind that. I like bad stuff that's funny, but this was just like not even entertaining. Just like, oh, horrible, horrible. It hurt. Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. You like Texas Chainsaw Massacre too? Really? That's the one. That's the one where they're in like the radio. There's a scene in like the radio station, right? It's that one. Oh, I thought that movie was so bad too. Those are my 2 least favorite 2s. There are some good 2s out there though. It seems like the more you make, the harder it is to remain at the top of your game. He said, as he does against the odds, number 400. I have a running theory. Hyper greedy decks, like mono black coffers, decks, or decks not running more than 1 or 2 basics in a whole EDH deck, getting hurt from the ashes. All right, let me read this again. I have a running theory. Hyper greedy decks like mono black coffers and decks not running more than 1 or 2 basics in a whole EDH deck getting hurt from the ashes, I think is a fair price to pay for getting rid of powerful lands like said coffers or Nykthos and Commander, but not hurting budget players just to try to get by with Snarls. What do you think? I actually think that From the Ashes is one of the most acceptable land destruction spells in the Commander format. If you play From the Ashes, I'm not going to complain about that. I don't know if everyone feels that way, but I'm very cool with From the Ashes. I think it's, as far as pseudo mass land destruction goes, I think it's formatted in about the best way possible for what it does. It's basically like a mass Assassin's Trophy on lands or something, where it blows up all the non-basics, but then you get basics to replace it. I would get wrecked by it because I tend to be very greedy, especially in my 5-color decks with not playing many basics. But I think that's perfectly fine. Even knowing that I would get wrecked by it, I think it's still fine. Well, I think we just glyph it up on the map. Get in for 5. Zodiac Glyph has felt really good. Well, here we come. Hit you for 5. Please don't shelter us. Candy Grapple. So they can block with a Dream Theft. Well, we get to Cascade into a Get Lost. Well, I mean, we're going to have to kill this eventually, so I guess we just do it now. Kill the bat, get back the Dusk Rose, pass the turn. What do you think this deck could work in Standard? Let me see. Ooh, I wish. Massacre Girl, eh? Well, we can play a land. We can play Alquist Prof. Make a clue. Get in with the Siren Storm Tamer. And then I think we just sack the Storm Tamer to get rid of the Massacre Girl. And pass the turn. Oh, so Nathan, I wish a deck like this would be good in Standard, but I feel like this is sadly the exact kind of deck that does not do good in this current Standard. In large part because of cards like Sunfall. Like green mid-rangey decks like this just get absolutely wrecked by Sunfalls and Farewells and all the sweepers, and there's not really a way to build your deck to play around it. So I think it's a really cool deck that looks like a powerful deck. I just don't know if it lines up with the meta in a way where it would be that competitive. JR Michello, welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super thank you about it. Gonna start cracking some maps. Into, ooh, a Take Numa. That's actually a pretty good land to hit. And, all right, they just play the Take Numa. Cracks another map into a Candy Grapple. I wonder why they're playing Candy Grapple. I guess they want to be able to sack their skeleton. Well, we'll sack a clue. Draw an Inspector. Draw an Inspector. Well, okay, play an Inspector. Make a clue. Play an Inspector. Make a clue. Is aggro still good? Even with all the farewells and fun falls, I'm not on standard, but it seems kind of suboptimal. So it depends on what you mean by aggro. Very aggressive decks are good in standard. Like mono red. There's also Boros that's like aggro enough that you can pressure through the Sunfalls and so forth. What doesn't really work is like kind of the slower aggro decks. Like once you get in the kind of the in-between aggro and mid-range area, that's where things become a lot sketchier. Because then you're not really fast enough to race the Sunfalls and so forth, and you just get absolutely wrecked. But yeah, so it really depends on just how fast are you. Well, let's crack a clue draw guard. Oh yeah, we see like toxic decks as well can be fast enough. Virtuoso, that's another one that is has some incredibly fast kills. That's almost more of a combo deck though. Can mono black discard work? What's the payoff? I think discard is pretty good in standard right now. But like what is the payoff for being a discard deck? That's what I'm not 100% sure about. What do we do here? How bad is this case? I mean, I guess it's not the end of the world. I think let's kill the Preacher of the Schism. Get it out of here. Waste Knot's not in standard, unfortunately. Waste Knot's like the best payoff for a discard deck. Really good in like Explorer, Historic. Yeah, I started putting together a deck. I haven't actually played it yet because it didn't look right yet. But I started putting together a deck that was trying to use Deadly Cover-Up in the end to just exile all of the opponent's things. It still could be kind of funny. So it's on my list. It's on the list. What have y'all been playing in standard? How have you been liking standard so far? I will say I've enjoyed this standard a lot more than I expected. I was a little afraid. Going into it that it was going to be like disastrous. It hasn't been though. It's actually been a pretty enjoyable standard. I do feel like there should be more changes to standard. I'm a little disappointed that the set hasn't made more of an impact, but standard's been fun. Yeah, I've seen some fight rigging decks that look pretty solid. We dropped to 10. Wandering Emperor is huge. That is a big draw here. Well, play the Novice Inspector. Get a clue. Play the Siren. Get a map. Crack the map on the unblockable mysterious creature. Mill the Siren. And hit you for 4. All right, this Wandering Emperor gives us a shot. This is going to come right down to the end. I think standard's been pretty good, trying to make Grixis Breach work. Oh, yeah, Breach of Multiverse is a strong card. Glistening Deluge. All creatures get -1, -1. Creatures that are green and white. Wow. All right, our opponent is tacked for our matchup. Whoa! Whoa! That was actually kind of insane. Okay. Yeah. Well, Massacre Girl. I haven't really seen Massacre Girl go off like that, but yeah, I mean, this is the baddest of news. Now our opponent has 7 cards in hand. And even so, they're just actually a Massacre Girl deck. I can't believe this is working. Our opponent drew so many cards. I mean, we get to snipe the Massacre Girl now, but it's way past the point. Massacre Girl, yeah. Maybe Massacre Girl is actually good. Well, all right. That's an Ezram, though. That is an Ezram. And we can take this out. I mean, Ezram is potentially good. We'll see if it's good enough. They probably could have Edicts. I could see them playing Sheoldred's Edict, but if it lives, it's good. I mean, how many Edicts can they play? How many Edicts can they play in a deck that's trying to play this weird Massacre Girl removal? So we sack a Clue. Going for Hexproof. I mean, maybe they just have 3 removal spells. About it. Massacre Girl might be too good. Broken. Yeah, that was the first time I've really seen it pop off like that, but that was actually pretty impressive. All right, they're going to cut down the token. Well, let's see if Ezram can carry. I think they drew 5 off the Massacre Girl altogether. Poundit gets in with the skeleton. Hits us. Can't block it because it's suspected. I don't know about the case is an interesting card. It's so slow. But I guess if you just have to have Massacre Girl, it's probably fine. Like, if you have something in specific that you're really built around, I don't think it's worth playing in, like, a generic deck. But in a deck that has that one thing they really need, it's probably worth it. All right, so opponent has dumped their hand of Massacre Girl cards, mostly. We need, I think, a top deck here. Dennick. It's kind of Dream Trawler-esque. I don't think it's as good as Dream Trawler. But I think it is. It's close enough that I think it's actually a very strong card. How do we do this reasonably? So we can sack 2 to give Vigilance lifelink. Yeah, okay, so sack a Clue. Vigilance. Sack a Clue. Lifelink. Go to combat. Hit ya. Gain back some life. Play the Dennick. And pass the turd. I mean, in theory, we could have lethal next turn. In practice, I don't know if it's going to work, but in theory it could happen. About it. Gonna draw a card. Oh, I would never feel bad about typos. You've heard me try to pronounce things. Also, are any of you going to Chicago next week? MagicCon Chicago is next weekend. If you're there, definitely stop by and say hello, maybe jam a game. We could steal this. It's going to depend on how much removal our opponent has left. Opponent goes to combat. Attacks. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 9, 10. Oh, so we have to block? Oh, no. Do we have to lose our Ezram? Do you think they see that they have lethal, chat? Do you think they see it? They're looking at their cards. The problem is if we block with Ezreal, we definitely can't win. All right. No blocks. Let's see if they see it. Yeah, they do. I mean, I think that was our only shot of winning the game, because I think if we block and lose Ezreal, then there's no way that we can win the game anyway. So I think that was our only realistic shot. Oh yeah, I guess it's not this weekend, but the following weekend. It's like the 22nd or something. It's also apparently all sold out. So if you don't have your tickets yet, then I don't think you can get in, unfortunately. Yeah, the Massacre Girl draw 5. That was the difference. All right, let's switch it up. Let's try one of these other decks. Chat, would you rather see out of these two decks? Also, a reminder that our sponsor today is Card Kingdom. If you need some magical cards, you can get them over at cardkingdom.com/FTD Goldfish. If we switch off clues, would you rather see, okay, three options. This 5-color Insidious Roots pile that I'm not even sure what this deck is trying to do. Like, I know it's trying to do Insidious Roots things. There's a Shigeki and a Sky Turtle. There's a Kaya. There's Urgent Necropsy. Like, this deck has there's a little bit of everything going on in this deck. So this deck is all over the place. No idea what's going on. You want to see Roots? People like the idea. You know what? Let's. The Roots deck is not good. Have you tried it? Oh no. Have you already tried it? I haven't tried it. Mono Black discard. I don't have a Mono Black discard deck currently. What about the Massacre Girl deck? A Massacre Girl would be easy to build, I think. We could try. I mean, we could build Massacre Girl. The other one that I had put together was so this 4-color Slogger deck. This one intrigued me just because I've played against someone with it, and it looked like the grindiest deck I'd ever seen. Like, the match took an hour to play through because they were just looping every turn, like Sokenzan, Atwara, take Numa, because your Slogger with like Rona and the Relica Legends, it's just like this infinite loop of graveyard value, and no one's playing any graveyard hate apparently. So it's like just like Slogger Legends, you can potentially Titania in the deck. It's just all over the place. It is going to be very long. Enigma Jewel. Yeah, it was like both players were about to time out. Blue-White Artifacts is kind of like Clues, but this is more of like an aggro deck that I found from Moto, but it's got some similar ideas, but we got way less of the big Clue stuff in it. What is Butt Toss? Oh, that's a deck I was working on for YouTube. It's probably going to be an Against the Odds deck, but it's a Pride of the Whole Clan, deck. It's pretty, Pride of the Whole Clan's so janky. I think Pride of the Whole Clan might be one of the jankiest mythics they've printed in a long time. It is like so janky, but I don't think we're gonna play that now because I'm working on it for a YouTube video. So you'll probably see it on the YouTube in the future if it works out. Jim Davis's Roots deck. Scorn Belt Berserker. Oh, that's... Oh, wait. Oh, is that his deck? Wait, how does it actually make infinite plants, though? Or is that just clickbait? Am I being clickbaited? It says infinite plants. I can see how you can make... So you got Tyvar to give your plants haste. But what is the loop that lets it go infinite? I don't see a... Oh, okay, so I guess if you have like 3 or 4 okay, I guess you could actually go infinite. So if you had 3, you'd have to have 3 Insidious Roots on the battlefield. 3 Insidious Roots plus a Tyvar plus 2 Colossal Sky Turtles. That would actually go infinite, right? So if you had 3 of them, you Sky Turtle to get back a Sky Turtle. That'll make 3 plants. Those 3 plants tap for 3 mana thanks to Tyvar. You can do it right away thanks to Tyvar. Then you Sky Turtle for Sky Turtle, get 3 more plants, tap those plants. So it actually is not a... I guess it's actually not clickbait, actually. There actually is a way to go infinite with it. It is kind of like 5 cards. When you need 3 copies of your namesake card to make it work, it's probably not going to happen very often. But it could actually come together once in a while. It's very consistent deck to pull off that combo. Really? The 5-card combo was very consistent? Have you been playing the deck? I mean, that'd be sweet. It's very fun to play. I mean, we can try playing it if you want to. You want to try playing this Insidious Roots deck? We can try it. What do y'all want to see? What do y'all want to see? I'm open to whatever you want to try. All right, let's see if it's clickbait. Let's test it out. Let's test it out and see if we're getting clickbaited here. I mean, Insidious Roots is a cool card. I feel like this is probably an against the odds deck. But we'll see. Let's give it a go. I'm down with trying Insidious Roots though, because Insidious Roots is super cool. I was actually trying to make it work in Modern, but not having much. So I don't know. Here's a question I got for you, chat. So like Insidious Roots in Modern, my dream world is you go into Modern. And yeah, Slime Against Humanity is gonna be coming up on the YouTubes. So my dream world, you go to Modern, you have Insidious Roots, you have Gravecrawler, Stitcher Supplier maybe, Carrion Feeder, a Sack Outlet, and you just like infinitely loop your Gravecrawler to make infinite plants with Tyvar so you can tap them for mana. So that's like the dream, right? Is you have this infinite combo deck and it's gonna be really cool. The thing is, yeah, I don't know if it'll win very much. And then you see other people who like, you can play Insidious Roots and play it in like Yogg combo or something. Is that interesting enough to do a stream or a video of? That's something I really struggle with. We were talking about Modern and how to get more Modern content. Like, here's a deck like for example, Modern Yogg, which is a pretty well-known deck now. It was a rogue deck a while ago, but it's a pretty well-known deck. Is like, here's Modern Yogg, but it's got this cool new card in it. Is that intriguing to you? Or is that boring to you because it's like, oh, Yogg, I've seen that before, or whatever, that's a tier deck? Or it's like, oh, that's super cool because it has Insidious Roots in it, and I've never seen Yogg with Insidious Roots in it. I'm very curious where you land on that. Ooh, Bitter Ordeal. That could be a sweet finisher. You need Tyvar is the solution to everything. Tyvar lets your stuff tap with haste. So what is the idea of this deck? So this is the deck we just snagged from apparently Yoda Man via Jim Davis. So the goal of this deck. So it's a Insidious Roots deck. So Insidious Roots, tokens tap for a mana, and then when a creature leaves your graveyard, you get to make a 0/1 plant and put a counter on each plant you control. So the idea of this deck is we want to play Insidious Roots. We have ways creatures can leave the graveyard, like Urborg Possession puts a creature back to our hand. Rubble Belt Maverick exiles from the graveyard. Agatha Soul Cauldron exiles from the graveyard. Tyver can mill and get things back from the graveyard. In a bunch of ways to fill the graveyard, just Felicia Archaeologist, Aftermath Analysis, mill. The dream, obviously, the full infinite combo, 3 copies of Insidious Roots, a Tyvar, 2 copies of Colossal Sky Turtle. So to go infinite, 6 cards, although a little bit better because one of the Colossal Sky Turtles can be in the graveyard. But that would let you channel Sky Turtle to get back a Sky Turtle an infinite number of times, with each making 3 infinite, 3 tokens from Insidious Roots. What are we missing in our sideboard? Can you play in Modern with Satyr Wayfinder? I do love me some Satyr Wayfinder. Yeah, I imagine this is the deck that is just fully dependent on drawing Insidious Roots and your opponent not having get lost or something similar to deal with it. But we'll give it a shot. We'll give it a shot. People want to see it. People want to see it. We'll put a couple of Souls of the Lost. Maybe that'll be our sideboard plan is Souls of the Lost to, oh, I don't know. Oh, I don't know if this deck's going to work. Hey, what's up, Looney? Good to see you. Good to see ya. Hey, Seth, have you seen the interaction between Sidisi Brood Tyrant and the new card Snarling Gorehound? It seems like a fun Much Brew video. All right, let me look up Snarling Gorehound, because not only have I not seen the interaction, I'm not sure what Snarling Gorehound is. 1 mana, Menace. When a creature with power 2 or less enters a battlefield under your control, surveil 1. Oh, I see. So Sidisi. So Sidisi Brood Tyrant is a 4-drop. Whenever it attacks or ETBs, you mill 3 cards. When one or more creature cards are put into your graveyard from the battlefield, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. So hopefully you have Snarling Gorehound, you overload your deck on a million things with power 2 or less, and then you have Sidisi, you surveil with the Gorehound, and then you'll trigger your Sidisi to make a zombie, which if you get another cheap creature, will let you surveil and keep going back and forth. That's a cool idea. That'd be a fun deck building challenge. Definitely got to really overload, I think, on the cheap stuff. Well, that's a 0-lander. Oh no. Oh boy. Ooh, off to an inauspicious start with Insidious Roots. This deck has a lot of This deck has, well, here we go. We got to keep this at 5. Oh, see, this is, ooh. I feel like this deck, this is going to be rough. This is going to be a rough one. If you don't have the Insidious Roots, I don't think our deck does anything. Shipwreck Marsh, go. Hello, opponent. Hello to you. Wait, what is the main combo? Wait, am I misunderstanding the Gorehound combo? Snarling Gorehound. Wait, what am I misunderstanding about it? Well, let's play a land and play a Vile Spawn Spider. Whenever another creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under your control, surveil 1. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, so the power of the creature doesn't really matter, right? So the zombie is a 2/2, so it's going to trigger it. You have to keep hitting creatures, right? So as long as you hit any creature, it wouldn't matter what the power is. As long as you hit any creature, then it'll trigger the Gorehound again, and you can do it again, and you can do it again. That makes sense. Ah, that is neat. I guess how could you do it? You need lands though. We need like more MDFC lands that are creatures. If you could build an all MDFC creature land mana base, then it would go fully infinite. And then I guess you'd also mill out and die, but I mean, I guess we block this because we're not doing anything else. And we're like kind of getting super run over here. Colossal Sky Turtle. All right, combo achieved. We have done the hard part. We have 2 Colossal Sky Turtles. Now all we need is 3 Insidious Roots and a Tyvar and probably a couple creatures on the battlefield. So we're almost there. We're almost there. You can choose to leave the card. Yeah, you wouldn't mill yourself out because then once you get to the end of it, you would just choose to stop and leave the last card on top and have the loop end. Oh, Yamari would be good in that deck, wouldn't it? Yamari would be a good companion. You could probably make that work. Oh, then you couldn't play any spells. All right, all right. We'll pass the turn. Oh no. I feel my mythic dream dying, chat. We were so close. We were two wins away from mythic, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna end the stream at like bronze. I feel like we're heading towards bronze. This deck doesn't ask for much. It's only a 6-card combo. Pretty much. I don't even know if we want to show our opponent the cauldron. They might bring in answers for it. I mean, we're 0% to win this game. I guess we should probably just scoop, but I mean, I guess we're not 0%. I guess there's a world where we draw Insidious Roots this turn and then can Soul Cauldron Insidious Roots. But I don't think we even want to give our opponent the information away because our odds of winning this are so incredibly low that I don't think it's... Wow, another Imodane's Recruiter. All right. Well, we can try again. Yeah, I think that there's some potential for Insidious Roots. I'm a little skeptical of this build. I will say... Like, why are we playing, like, Scorn Blade Berserk? Like... I'm just confused about some of the individual cards. Like, so this, okay, when an ETB is Surveil 2, that makes some sense, although we could be playing, like, Cruel Somnophages and that kind of stuff to mill 4. Scornblade Berserker, this one I'm very confused about. So I guess the idea is this is supposed to be a sack outlet? Your plants... so this is... Oh, boy. I see. Wait. Yeah, that's how I would probably build it, is Shigeki... Like, a Shigeki deck. Wait, so I think I figured it out. So if we have... Okay, I got it. Infinite card draw. We need... Okay, 3 Insidious Roots. A Tyvar. 2 Colossal Sky Turtles. 1 Agatha Soul Cauldron. Exiling a Scornblade Berserker from our graveyard. Infinite card draw? That is 9. Only 9 cards. 9 cards infinite card draw. We're almost there. 9 cards. 9 cards. It's just a 9-card combo. No big deal. Oh, magic. 9. Oh no, I'm sure that they can pop. I'm just... Some of the infinite aspects, I don't know. I'm not sure how realistic the infinite aspects are. Alright, we'll cut some of that stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest issue with decks like this, right? Is like Sunfear, well, we have an Insidious Roots. So that's the card, the reason this deck exists. So hopefully this is a good game for the deck. We drew the thing. We drew the thing that does the thing. If there was ever a time for a deck to pop off, it would be, okay, there's 2 Insidious Roots. So we drew 2 of the things that does the thing. If we don't win this game... I mean, we gotta do cool things this game, right? We have to. We have to. I mean, we do need to find ways to get things in and out of the graveyard. Well, play another Insidious Roots. And a Dark Slick Shores and pass the turn. No, don't be blowing up. No. Okay, back down to 1 Insidious Roots. Opponent, a Thram Portal. Wedding Announcement. Gets in, hits us. Gains a life, makes a dork. Oh, I wish we had colors of mana that were more functional here. Well, let's play the Maverick, I guess. We can leave up a removal spell. Surveil 2. I think we gotta mill both Sky Turtles at this point because we desperately need to draw lands. And this would be so much better if... Should we wait and kick this? And we can get back a creature and an Insidious Roots? That's probably better. Yeah, let's just pass. Let's just pass, see what our opponent does. Hey, Seth, do you think Doppelgang could be a real win con in Mono Green Devotion? With some blue-green lands for fixing and late land in the guild pack, you can definitely pull it off. I tried it today for some random Boggles deck. I was very far behind. Then I cast X2 Doppelgang on my old growth troll. Suddenly there's a 12-12 double striker for lethal. I think it could. I think... So, would it be the most competitive finisher that you could play in the deck? Maybe not. But I do think it could work. Like, certainly if you can Doppelgang for at least 8 mana, it is very likely to win you the game. And Mono Green Devotion can definitely make 8 mana very easily. Okay, Halo Hopper, full price. Gains a life. I think when they tap their stuff, we just kill the Warden with Long Goodbye. Yeah, get rid of that. I mean, so worst case here, we can kick a Urborg Repossession. Trigger Insidious Roots, get back another Insidious Roots, which I think, since we're not getting lands, I think is what we do. So get back a Sky Turtle, get back an Insidious Roots. Make a plant, it gets a counter, and pass the turn. Opponent. Don't kill us, please? Yeah, I don't know about the Halo Hopper plan. Alright, Case of the Gateway Express to kill the plant. Yeah, we needed that because it was going to give us mana. Not having mana is rough here. Well, we'll block a 1/1, I guess. Drop to 15. Opponent plays a portal. Oh, salves their case. Creature's huge. Now we draw a land, but... not very quickly. So we get to play this. I mean, we got to pop off this turn, right? If this is going to work. So we need to play this. We need to play an Insidious Roots. So Insidious Roots number 2 returns. I mean, we can make a bunch of plants here, right? So we can Urborg Repossession. Can't kick it this time, but we get to get back a Sky Turtle. We make 2 plants. They get 2 counters. Then we can exile this Maverick. Ouch. 2 more plants. 2 more counters. And now we actually got, okay, now we actually got a little more. That was actually pretty good. That was actually pretty good. About it. Snarling Gorehound, Mossbit Skeleton, and Insidious Roots could be built around for Modern. Ooh. Opponent with the big-ish attack. Well, block. We get to keep 2 plants and take 0. I like the take. Yeah, I think we got to do that. We can't just keep taking damage here. Oh, they have removal? A Ganjo. All right. I mean, with 2 Insidious Roots going, we should be okay, though. Check that. 3 Insidious Roots going. Oh, this is actually kind of absurd now. So we can play an Insidious Roots. And now we can just pass the turn. And I think our opponent's about to get blown out. Okay, we actually... honestly, we're a Tyvar away from comboing. If we could find a Tyvar... we actually found all 3 Insidious Roots in our top 15 cards, so we could actually go fully infinite here. It might actually be happening. We might actually get to live the dream. Hey, what's up, Way? How are you? It might be happening. Can we find the Tyvar? That would be so cool. I mean, I guess we can... so if we don't find the Tyvar, we can try to mill the Tyvar. Because oh, opponent's just passing? Well, All right, let's channel the Sky Turtle to get back at Urborg Repossession. I think we're just going to make... I think we're just going to make enough plants that we might win naturally. So Aftermath Analysis. This is the one that can get all of our lands back, but it ETBs mills 3 cards. Yeah, I don't know what the odds are of the full combo going off, but it would be really cool if it did. So no Tyvar. We mill some lands. We can Urborg Repossession. Actually, I guess we go Kicker to get back a land. Get back a Colossal Sky Turtle. Get back a Deathcap Glade. Trigger, trigger, trigger. Triple plant. And I don't even think we need to go infinite. I think we just win by triggering 3 Insidious Roots. Like 3 Insidious Roots and a not lockdown graveyard. How do you beat that? Like it snowballs really fast once it gets going. Now we get to play this. We get to do this. Put it on this. And yeah, could you imagine if all of our plants had haste? That's the only thing we're missing. But this is still pretty wild. That was like 4 mana or something. Make 20 power and 6 bodies. I have a version of this deck that works well enough. What's your deck look like, Winston? Opponent. Good game. Well, so far it sounds about like we expected. It seems like if we have 3 Insidious Roots, we're balling, that's for sure. Oh, we need our removal against this deck. What can we cut? Ghost Dragon! Welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super for you. Thank you. Ali Eldrazi playing an insane deck lately. What's Ali been playing? Hey, what's up, Deborah? How are you? Good to see you. I mean, yeah, it does. The question is, what would we cut for it? Already having a hard time because it's so much of a combo deck, right? Like, if we're trying to pull off the combo, we'd have so many. Like, we need the graveyard filling stuff, or nothing works. It's already tough just to get in the cut downs. But yeah, Soul Loss would be good. I don't know how to find room for. I don't know how to find room for this last cut down and still keep the entire combo going. I guess we can go down 1 Agatha Soul Cauldron, maybe? I mean, the Tyvar is the only way to go fully infinite. Laughed my ass off with the Villainous Wealth video. Hey, thank you, Sleepy Dad. I'm glad you liked it. Ooh, wrapping outrageous robbery. That sounds sweet. Well, this hand really needs a mill card. So we do have an Insidious Roots, which is good. We have double Urborg Repossession, which is good once things are in the graveyard. But right now we have no way to fill the graveyard. There's a delicate balance, right? Of you need ways to get things out of the graveyard. That's not good. You need ways to get things in the graveyard, and you need not to die to aggro. Well, okay. Insidious Roots, here we go. Made a new special deck for you. Did go 6-0. Ooh, let me take a look. Temporary. Valerian Epicure. Feels like a Ranger Captain of Eos or whatever. Knight of Eos. Yeah, this deck gets off to really fast starts. And, well, we have an Insidious Roots. We do have an Insidious Roots. I promise. Opponent. Imitates Recruiter and a Warden of the Inner Sky. Yeah. This deck doesn't have any wraths, right? There's no actual wraths. We got a couple of cut downs, but no way to clean up a big board like this. This is where Massacre Girl would shine. We saw that in our matchup. Colossal Sky Turtle. Well, all right. I mean, I think we're dead, but we'll play a Tyvar. Ouch. We'll take down the Tyvar. 1, 2, 3. Hit a Rubble Belt Maverick. Surveil 2. Definitely don't want the turtle. Definitely don't want the repossession. Make a plant, and all right, pass the turn. We can cut down off the plant, but they have a bushwhacker in hand, so they just have so much damage here. I'm not sure there's a... Jeez, what a start for our opponent. Double Gleeful Demolition, and that's lethal and a half. Imidane's Recruiter. Yeah, all right. I mean... pretty much not beating that without a Wrath. And we don't have one. Block? Cut down? Die? Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what Boros does. All right. Well, game two was cool. Game two was cool. Yeah, that's about as good as the start goes for our opponent. Here's my, let me see, Mormon Freeman. Oh, we got the Gorehound growing. Aftermath Analysis, Armored Scrap Gorger. Yeah, I think the biggest thing that makes me question this deck is I feel like Undead Butcher is like the dream. Undead Butcher is so incredibly perfect for this deck because Undead Butcher, not only does it mill 3 when it ETBs, which is good. So it mills 3 when it ETBs. When it dies, you can exile it from your graveyard to get back another creature, and that double triggers the Insidious Roots, right? Because one is going to be this exiling from the graveyard. Then the other is going to be the thing that goes back to your hand from the graveyard. What is like, so this is playing Felicia Archaeologist. So I guess that's, you're just hoping to high roll into like Insidious Roots or Tyvar? Is after, I don't know, we'll play another game with it. I do think Undead Butler is like one of the single best Insidious Roots cards that exists. So not seeing that is a little weird. Also have this one for standard ranked. Ooh. Mono Black A. Well, if we play Mono Black, we're gonna have to try a Massacre Girl deck, I think, since we got beat by that Massacre Girl deck. That looks sweet though. I mean, Mono Black's good. I mean, I'm a big Colossal Sky Turtle fan. I don't know. Maybe we try rebuilding. Because I think Sky Turtle is at its most powerful with Shigeki in like some sort of ramp style shell. This hand, one land will never cast a spell. I don't think we. All right, we found an Insidious Roots. There's all the lands we didn't have in game in hand one. All right, well, Insidious Roots, Soul Cauldron. Hopefully we draw some mill stuff. I feel like Insidious Roots has potential. I definitely think it does. Well, Darksleep Shores, I guess. Oh, about it. Well, we draw a Rubble Belt Maverick. Well, I guess we get down the Insidious Roots and go from there. Hopefully our opponent does not have a Get Lost. That would be very sad. Yeah, oh boy, is this the Boros deck again? Motherfucker asked about Commander Clash stuff earlier. They submitted a deck, but it was towards the end of the last stream. So there's another Nightmare hand. Well, Rubbleback Maverick. Actually, I guess we can play Dreamroot Cascade. What was your question about Commander Clash? We will mill. I guess we gotta leave. We need more mill, right? So we leave the Archaeologist on top. Ah, boy. Do we leave both on top? Probably only one. So let's, okay. Archaeologist in the, well, no. Okay. This goes to the graveyard. This stays on top. Then we play Agatha's Soul Cauldron, which we can use to exile from the graveyard, to grow the Maverick, to make a plant, to set up for next turn. Last week, I was so excited to submit a deck for Commander Clash. I did it right after the stream. Was it too early? Should I resend them closer to the actual viewer submitted episode? Wait, where did you send it, Mother Frogger? Just out of curiosity. Opponent gets in. All right, we'll take the 4. If you put a link, if it was posted in one of the YouTube like comment sections, no need to resubmit to that at all, because everyone's gonna look through them to various emails. Sending them again just to make sure people saw them is fine. I mean, I think it should be okay either way, but if you want to send them again just to confirm, that's also a fine option. Well, okay, we lose the Soul Cauldron, unfortunately. Archaeologist does stone nothing, unfortunately. Pass the turn. I submitted through the YouTube community tab. Was hoping to get seen. Yeah, that's the best way to submit it, because I know that everyone who does viewer submitted games will check there. Huh. Playing this matchup again, eh? Well, block takes 7. We need a top deck. Well, there's a Tyvar. That's sort of a top deck-ish. Take down.
Fight to remember. Your story.
Jeez. Wow. Okay, that is so incredibly bad. Oh, well, you go to the graveyard. I guess we keep another Tyvar. We get to make 1 plant. We pass the turn and see if we live another turn. Opponent. We have not had much luck with the milling this game. We have not milled any creatures. Case of the Gateway Express, gonna kill our stuff. Yeah. Opponent attacks. Oh, and this puts our creatures to exile? Oh, no. That's also bad. Well, block and... yeah, it's gonna go to exile either way. Block and block. Yeah, that's pretty rough skis. Flips the case. Well, we can tap this for a mana. We can untap it. We can play another Tyvar. I don't know if there's anything in this deck that can actually save us.
Never give up. We can win.
All right, Scornblade Berserker. Put it on a plant. All right, well, we got a 0-1, so maybe. Maybe that'll do something. Pass the turn. About it. Yeah, Gateway Express is, I mean, it's a good removal spell for a go wide deck, right? You gotta be really going wide heavily, but in that deck, it's very good. Like, there's a lot of removal spells in the past that are like damage equal to the number of creatures you control. This is pretty similar, except you get the upside that eventually it turns into a bad anthem. So I think it's actually, the case has actually played pretty well. The wording's a little bit. Oh, they found another Imidane's Recruiter. Well, we know the Imidane's Recruiter. All right, so we need some sort of miraculous top deck. Sack this thing. Draw land. Draw Rebel Belt Maverick. Yeah, we're literally dead on board. All right. I love watching Commander Clash and always want to submit a deck, but I don't play Commander. Would you accept historic Brawl decks? I mean, you are welcome to submit whatever deck you want, as long as we could realistically play it in Commander, which we could with a historic Brawl deck. I would say the odds of someone choosing a historic Brawl deck are probably not incredibly high, but I would encourage you to submit whatever decks you like to submit, because we look through them all, and if it's a cool thing that catches someone eye, maybe someone plays it. It's definitely possible. I mean, the idea of like playing a historic Brawl deck in a Commander game, there's some novelty to it. I could see doing it just for the novelty aspect. Wayne Frady with the gift sub to Henry Rocha. Welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big scoop cheer for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Historic Brawl. I think we did a Brawl Week one time. All right. You know what? I think let's do this game and then maybe... it might be too late in the stream for brewing. This deck has me really wanting to brew an Insidious Roots deck now. Because I feel like Insidious Roots is sweet. Well, Lango. But Scornblade Berserker, I don't feel like is very sweet. I feel like there's, like, if you're going to play this because you have Agatha's Soul Cauldron, but then you only play 2 Agatha's Soul Cauldrons, that's, I don't know. You just need so many things to go right for me to want this card in my deck. Like, the upside is if you do, like, 10 different things, it, like, is kind of cool. Which, I guess is cool from against odds perspective, but it seems underpowered in, like, 99% of games. For the 1% of games where it's like, oh, I already got infinite plants, but I also get to draw cards. Hey, Seth, I recently sent you my Grixis Scam deck for Pioneer with Slip out the back. How do you like it? Ooh, wait. It doesn't sound familiar. I don't know if I've seen it. I know there's still some... Ooh. All right, well... So, are we supposed to play this? I guess I don't understand this card. Like, am I supposed to just play this and put a counter on this? Just and have a 0/1? I guess we don't? I guess I just don't understand what Scornblade Berserker is trying to do in this context. All right, go ahead. Resolute Reinforcements. Oh, let me see Super Jory guy. Grixis Scam for Pioneer, eh? That's definitely a spicy idea. All right, pound it, frontliner, and, well, seems like a knight might be coming. They always got the knight this Boros deck. So you can, like, play a Croxa and then slip out the back to keep it around. That's super cool. Also some lots of action, eh? Likeness Looter can turn into... Likeness Looter Crocs is actually a pretty sweet synergy. I actually really like that. That seems like that could actually be pretty powerful. Yeah, that looks super cool. We draw another Insidious Roots. Well, that is good news. So let's play another Insidious Roots. Actually, no, that doesn't work. Okay, we need to Urborg Repossession with Kicker. We gotta wait till next turn. So get back the Archaeologist. Get back. We need more black mana. All right, let's get the Llanowar Ways, because we might use it right now. So we trigger the Insidious Roots. Get back a land. Play the land. Now I guess we'll play one of these Berserkers, just to chump block, I guess. We can put a counter on it, actually. That might be fine. It can block a 1/1, sort of. Okay. So next turn, we can Insidious Roots, Archaeologist to mill, but we need a way to get things out of the graveyard. I feel like Insidious Roots is going to be a tier card at some point. What is a scam archetype? So scam's actually kind of a funny and also like oddly controversial term. I'm surprised how many people... I mean, I guess the community has fully embraced scam. WotC will not use scam. I'm not sure why. I guess maybe it associates their product with a scam or something, which I guess from a corporate perspective, I guess I can kind of see. But scam started in Magic really because of Rakdos scam in Modern. But the term actually comes from, yeah, WotC calls it like Rakdos Evoke, I think. The term actually came over from, as far as I know, like auto battler games. Where, or at least that's where I first heard the term used, where scam comp is essentially a composition or a deck that is trying to win the game in a way that essentially ignores the normal rules of the game. Like, where you're doing something that's outside just the normal play pattern, and most decks can't deal with it. Like, I would consider, and it's never going to get this name, but Dredge would be a scam deck. Dredge is, I think, the best definition of a scam deck in Magic, where you're just like, you're doing this thing, and you're like, okay, I'm doing this thing that most decks can't really stop, because all I need to do is get a removal spell, or get a Dredge card in my graveyard, and if I do that, I'm going to do all this weird stuff that ends up winning the game, and it just takes advantage of the point that, the fact that people aren't really prepared for it. Yeah, I first heard it, I think, with, I think it came from Hearthstone Battlegrounds to Storybook Brawl. That's where I first heard about it, was scam comps in Battlegrounds, and then also it was used a lot in Storybook Brawl. Wait, the green screen moved. How did the green screen move? Why is my green screen moving? That's probably not good. I think it's fixed now. Let's play Insidious Roots. We really need to find a way to make some plants, and I don't know how we do that here. Archaeologist. Okay, hitting a soul cauldron's kind of nice. So now we can play a soul cauldron. And pass the turn? Do we remain alive? So we can make two. Man, if we can get like one more turn. If we can get like one more turn, I think we can kind of go off. It's like Tomer's apartment. The Insidious Roots. What do you think of that art? I actually think that art looks super cool. They're gonna blow up the soul cauldron, eh? Well, we will. Exile the archaeologist to make some plans. Put a counter on the archaeologist. Oh, okay. So we can still make plants with the Maverick. I guess we can sack this to draw a card at some point. Open it. Yeah, if they have Imidane's Recruiter, that would be bad. Like, if we can get another turn or two with plants on the battlefield, I think it becomes kind of inevitable. I think that, yeah, the art, it's like, it's unique. I think it's actually pretty sweet. Oh, so here's there's other news we didn't talk about, chat. So we talked about, well, I guess we can rehash this now, because I'm sure there's some different people here, new people here. So we talked earlier about the announcement of Beyond boosters. So the big announcements of the day, 2 Universes Beyond sets a year starting next year. Universes Beyond sets like the Lord of the Rings one, like premier high-end ones. So that's starting next year. The other interesting news is the Beyond boosters. Beyond boosters are a new booster that is kind of like the Aftermath packs, but they're specifically for Universes Beyond sets, and they're going to put cards directly, yes, 2 big premiere a year. They're actually cutting a Magic, according to the article that announced this, which was written by Dicebreaker, so it wasn't a Mothership article, but according to that article, they're cutting a Magic theme set a year, so they can do 2 premier Universes Beyond sets a year starting next year. So that's happening. They're doing Beyond boosters, which are like kind of like Aftermath boosters. They're like 8-card boosters, actually 7, I think, because 1 I think is a token slot. So like 7-card boosters for Universes Beyond products. Some Universes Beyond, not all of them, but like the Assassin's Creed Universes Beyond that's coming out this summer has Beyond boosters. It's like a 100-card set in small boosters that go straight to Modern. So I like that it's adding more cards to Modern. That was the other big piece of news. The other news that came out during this WotC stream is they also... Well, let's get this Maverick, trigger some stuff. The other news that came out during the WotC stream is I think WotC expected the Aftermath was going to be like a banger, because Outlaws at Thunder Junction was supposed to have Aftermath style product with it, but then Aftermath itself performed so poorly, they ended up essentially just cutting it. So there's no aftermath for Thunder Junction, but they took the cards from it and put them into the set itself. So Thunder Outlaws at Thunder Junction is going to have aftermath cards, but in the actual set, but it's going to have a different set symbol because they were supposed to be aftermath cards. So we'll know what cards would have been in the aftermath set by the set symbol, which is kind of neat. So I'm glad they mashed it together because aftermath itself didn't work very well. That was kind of like one of my takeaways from aftermath is just add the cool cards to the set. Like it doesn't have to be a standalone thing. So I think that was a really good takeaway. It's going to be interesting to see the different set symbols. Like that's kind of I'm actually kind of intrigued by that because we're going to be able to see exactly what was supposed to be where. What a corporate fiasco. Yeah, and this was some of these announcements, like the 2 Universes Beyond thing, came because of Hasbro having like really bad finance reports today from last year. So the CEO was kind of like, we made a lot of money on Lord of the Rings. We're gonna keep doing that to make more money. I think it's mixed. I think learning from Aftermath for like Thunder Junction, really good news. That was well done on that, Wadsy. Doing Beyond boosters that are small boosters, it's really going to be about the price. I think the Aftermath could have went over really well if they sold it for less money, but just the fact that they're selling it for so much, selling it for the normal price, but it was 5 cards or whatever, that just turned so many people off, and rightly so. Well, I mean, playing Insidious Roots. I mean, our board is big. We need like, we're so close. We can play Aftermath Analysis. That's going to mill 3 cards. We got the triple roots again. So this is another game where if we could find a Tyvar and 2 Colossal Sky Turtles, we could go infinite. What's going to happen to Hasbro first? Did they sell it or ruin Magic? It's hard for me. So it's hard for me to see why they would sell Magic. Why would you? When Magic is like your most profitable. Well, Magic is like your most profitable brand. Why sell the thing that's making you all the money? So it's hard for me to imagine them just like randomly selling Magic. Ooh, Maverick. Okay. So we can play Maverick. Hey, the Scornblade Berserker is going to do a thing. It's actually going to do a thing here. So we can play the Maverick, Surveil 2. Oh, we actually want both of these. Okay, keep the Urborg repossession. We can play a Berserker to back up the Maverick. Now we can sack the Maverick. Are we going to run out of mana? I think we're just going to run out of mana. We can sack the Maverick to draw a card. Then we can get back the Maverick to put a counter on something and make some more plans. How many Sky Turtles do we have? 1. Well, we just pass. Next turn, we might go infinite. We might actually go infinite next turn. It might actually be happening. Affinity to Squirtle for the 29th month. Welcome to the Fishbowl. Thank you so much for your subscription. Big super cheer for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So the question is, does Hasbro going down make them more likely to sell Magic? Because their stock got crushed today. Like, their finance news was really bad. Actually, I guess it wasn't that. I guess it wasn't as bad as I thought. They got crushed. They got crushed early down to $45, but they've mostly recovered. I don't know. Maybe they announced more firings real quick. Oh God, our economy. It's so shameful that that's how that works. At one point, I did own a little bit of Hasbro stock. And everyone was like, why? Like, your job already depends on Hasbro. Why would you also put any of your money into the company, because then if something goes wrong, then everything goes wrong. I was like, oh, that's actually makes sense. Can I move the record text? Yes, there you go. Well, that was pretty good. So it seems like the opportunity to go infinite with this deck does seem to present itself. Whether you actually get to see it go fully infinite, it's one of those against the odds style decks where I think you're going to get a lot of people scooping once you get to the point where you can do the infinite loop. Oh. We're going to keep this. One land, one keep. One land, one keep. One land, one Scornblade Berserker, one keep. We got the Insidious Roots and 2 Soul Cauldrons. We're like a land away from maybe partying. And that is a land, okay. Well, play the land. Pass the turn. So do you think there's any chance that they would actually sell Magic? I think it's we already got rewarded. We've been paid off for our greed. I don't know if it's realistic that they would sell Magic. I honestly think some of this news I think could be good. I'm really on the fence. I either think, I mentioned this earlier, I think one of two things is going to happen. I think either Magic is about to like shoot up and blow up and be bigger than it's ever been, or it's going to go the other direction and Hasbro's just going to really anger all the longtime Magic players. And the new stuff that they're doing doesn't bring in a whole bunch of new players, and Magic ends up going in the wrong direction that we don't want it to go in. I think those are the two paths. I don't see any world where Magic is roughly where it is today, like 3 years from now. I think it's either going to be way up here or it's going to be down below where it is today. I think those are the only two paths I can imagine. Yeah, this is standard. We're playing some Insidious Roots in standard at the moment. Okay, so how can we do this? So we can play the Maverick. Well, let's play the Maverick first. We got to add bodies to the battlefield. Mill a couple cards, see what we hit. I think we actually just have to mill both of those. Those were not the best cards. And then we can play a Dark Slick Shores. We can play a Scornblade Berserker. And put a counter on the Maverick. But this is a 4 or 5 flyer on turn 2. This Boros deck is so explosive. Yeah, I mean, I guess we passed the turn. Well, I think we actually have to sack this. We got to hit a removal spell, right? Or we just lose. Oh, we hit another Insidious Roots, but this Boros deck is just so incredibly fast. Found it. Imodane's Recruiter. Hits us for literally $1 billion. Yeah, I mean, the Boros deck's just so brutal. Oh, man. Oh, man. Mythic Dream dead. Oh, I don't think Magic will die. I don't think that's realistic. Like, Magic is so big and so beloved. Hasbro could stop printing Magic today, and it would still people would still play it. But the community would take it up, it would still play it. So there's no dying to Magic at this point. At least I don't think. But I do think it could become less popular, right? The games become less popular without dying all the time. So I think there's like a risk. All right, one land, one keep. Yeah, I don't think we're going to Massacre Curl today. I think at this point... Oh, no. At this point, I think it's probably too late to try to brew and really get much use. Oh, no. Out of a Massacre Girl deck. But I'll add it to the list for the future. All right. Well, that was a quick one. The one land, one keep did not pay off. Why is reanimation cards on Arena still at 4 mana value when stuff like this happens on turn 2 in any other deck? Yeah, I do think it's true that reanimation has not power crept to the same extent that other things have power crept. Squirmy Emergence, I think, is it's a unique take on reanimation, and maybe that's the way they get the cost down, is putting additional restrictions on it. That might be the best bet for lowering the cost. I think the days of reanimate and animate dead probably over in standard. And that's probably a good thing, right? Like, I think people would be pretty upset. I think people would be pretty upset if there was a deck that was just like turn 2 Atraxa consistently in standard. I don't think people would enjoy playing against that. So I can understand why they powered it down, but yeah, Atraxa, even as it is now, is pretty difficult and frustrating for some players. So, well, we get back to Aftermath Analysis. We mill 3 more cards, including a Roots, which we can get back with the Urborg Repossession. I will say Urborg Possession feels really important to this deck. I think the ability to get back a Roots from the graveyard is kind of huge. All right, Virtue of Persistence. Huh. Well, let's Urborg Repossession. Kick it. Get back Aftermath Analysis. Get back Insidious Roots. Play the land. Play the Maverick. Do a little surveilling. Well, Graveyard and... You know what? I think we go land Graveyard too. Graveyard. Take up Tyvar. I mean, I guess technically we should do it this way. I don't think this actually matters, but attack and then take up Tyvar. Pass the turn.
Ready for round 2.
That's what Tyvar sounds like? Tyvar does not sound like I would expect him to sound. Ooh, take Numa. So does our opponent... Are they a control deck? Do they have counters? We need to get down our Insidious Roots. Well, I guess we play the... We're going to play Take Numa. We're going to play Insidious Roots, so we can pay 3 for a counter if they have one. We will... get back a Maverick. Make a plant. The plant has haste. We will tap the plant. Tap the plant for black. Play a Scornblade Berserker. Back up the Maverick. Sack the Maverick. Draw a card. Maverick. Put a counter on the Maverick. Make a plant. Plant for the Maverick. Do a little surveilling. Mill the land. We'll keep the Aftermath Analysis. And then tick up the plant. And hit you for 3. I mean, that was a pretty cool turn. This deck does have a lot of really neat little synergies. I don't know what that turn really did for us. We made like 4 power, but we were doing a lot of... we did a lot of cool things to make that 4 power. That was an impressive... that was an impressive way to put... Our opponent just made 4 power by playing Aclazot. So there might be more straightforward ways of doing it, but we did it in the super cool way. Yeah, we're definitely going to brew. Probably not today at this point, but we definitely will brew around this. I don't know. My initial idea was playing in like modern. Oh, we can do some serious ramping here. Well, I think we go for it. Let's take down Tyvar.
It's not
Whiff really hard. Well, play an Aftermath Analysis. And I mean, we're just gonna do it. We're just gonna do it. We're gonna sack it. We're going to get all the lands and pass the turn. We have all the mana now we could ever possibly want. Opponent gonna get in, make his discard. Sure. I mean, look at all this mana. We got to be able to pop off, right? Yeah. I don't even know if we want a hardcast turtle. We really want to loop turtles.
Oh, just monstrous.
About it. Agatha's... Agatha's Soul Cauldron would have been good. Well, okay, someone's... Oh, we actually would have drawn the Colossal Sky Turtle. The second one to combo with, too. All right, well, I guess we're casting Sky Turtles and doing that. Hey, what's up, Billy? How are you? Good to see you. Oh, yeah, Farewell's the worst. Actually, Sunfall's probably the worst because it sees more play, but Farewell is very similar to Sunfall, which is also the worst. Opponent, Sloggerk. Well, we untap. We mill. A Deathcap Glade. Definitely don't want even more lands. Colossal Sky Turtle, get it at ya. And I guess we just passed the turn. About it. Yeah, I mean, if you're playing permanents, then, really? Okay. The whole exile all the graveyards into Invasion of Tovolar plan. Well, here comes a free spell. It is a Legion of Ashes. Well, we untap. Well, at least Archaeologist fills a graveyard. That's something. Well, we can play a Soul Cauldron. Exile a Berserker. So this is the Berserker synergy, is getting under a Soul Cauldron so we can sacrifice our other things. Hit you down to 8. What are the odds that we hit something good here? Do we just sack now? Yeah, let's pass. Let's pass. Opponent's at 8. I mean, we might be winning this. Yeah, Farewell is the ultimate Soul Crusher. Oh, that's why they didn't cast it. They were trying to... Yeah, they didn't have the ward mana. About it. Goes combat. Attacks. Oh, we're going to block. They might be able to discard a land to grow it. I guess they can definitely Demolition Field to grow it. But we can always sack it anyway. We might be pulling this out, actually. Seriously. Seriously. Opponent. Farewell number 2. Well, we will sack our stuff. And, alright, exiles all creatures, all graveyards. Gets a free spell. Legion of Ash on our Agatha Soul Cauldron. I'd love to see this for Explorer. Yeah, I actually think that older formats offer more synergies in a lot of ways for decks like this. I think there's way more possibilities, I would say, for Explore than in Standard, even, just because there's so much bigger of a card pool. Well, play another Sky Turtle. Play an Agatha Soul Cauldron. Play a tap land. Exile the Berserker on the Sky Turtle. Oh, Farewell makes games so miserable. Farewell is such a horrible card to have exist. I mean, it just, like, it makes so many decks that are cool totally unplayable. Like, this is an example of the kind of deck that it just completely invalidates. Alright, so opponent casts it. They gotta pay the ward. Now we sack the Sky Turtle. Urborg Repossession. Opponent gets a Splunking. Yeah, I don't know how we deal 8 points of damage. Well, play a Tyvar. We were gonna combo this game too. Take down the
Today we carve
Tyvar.
our deeds into history. Share in my glory.
Get back a archaeologist. Mill some cards. Urborg repossession. Get back a... How do we do this? How do we do this? What do we get back? We can get back the archaeologist to try to draw more cards. We probably got to get the sky turtle. All right, let's kick it. Let's get archaeologist and colossal sky turtle. Play the archaeologist to mill some more cards. We only got 12 cards left in our deck. And I mean, I guess we play the land. And pass the turn. See what our opponent finds. Weird question, but if you have a Restless Vinestock, activate it, then you have a creature leave your yard. Do you keep the +1/+1 counter on your land? I think yes. All right, let me just double check. Restless Vines. Man, opponent is playing a lot of Rest, aren't they? All right. I mean, we're just going to mill out here, I think. Sack and sack. There's an Insidious Roots. Chilling at the bottom. And a Karn Silex that we don't have an answer for. So we can do things, but we don't have a way to deal with the Silex. So even if we do things, we still lose? That's depressing. Well, we play Insidious Roots. It makes insects. So what we need to do is we need to... I mean, we can go like infinite-ish here. But I don't think going infinite-ish here lets us win. So we channel a Sky Turtle to get back a... Actually, that's probably the hard mode. All right, let's... Yeah, that's fine. All right, channel a Sky Turtle to get back Vile Spawn Spider. Make a plant. Play the Vile Spawn Spider. We can activate it with haste because of Tyvar. Make 6 plants. We can tap them with haste. So now we can... but how does this lead to us winning? I think this just leads to us milling... How do we bounce the Silex, though? Like, Sky Turtle only bounces creatures. So we don't actually have... I mean, we can draw the rest of our deck. Exile a Vile Spawn Spider. So, like, this is another way that I think we can go infinite. So all of our things with counters have Vile Spawn Spider's ability. So we can sack our things to make a ridiculous amount of plans. All which make a ridiculous amount of mana. Sack this to draw a card. Oh, Beseiju! Beseiju! Wow, that's actually kind of an answer. So we can't win this turn. But we can make a ton of things and just hope. I mean, I guess that's all we can do, right? Make a bunch of plans. Make a bunch of plans. Beseiju, the Silex. All right. I mean, yeah, the Visagia was the best we could hope for there. Opponent says good game. The problem is we can't actually attack here. We can attack. They have haste for abilities, but they don't have haste for attacking. Opponent. Oh, here, Kazla. Gonna attack the battle, which we really don't care about. Sure. I mean, all that matters is if they hit a Wrath. Oh, if they fare well here. Don't do it. All right, opponent gets the weird Bitter Blossom, and well, welcome to Murders at Karlov Manor Standard. It's so brutal. Well, I mean, that was fun. Get back in Insidious Roots. Play the Insidious Roots. Yeah, pretty dead. One card in the library at this point. Well, yeah, I mean, what do we have? Farewell, Path of Peril, Sunfall that game? The fact that we did cool things was impressive considering how many times. Let's do one more. Yeah, I mean, we did do cool things with the deck. I'll definitely give it credit for that. Couldn't you float a bit of mana in loop for after the Sunfall resolved? Well, we have an Insidious Roots. Maybe we could have. Yeah, Sunfall's a card that I honestly think should not exist, but Lango. So we have the Insidious Roots. Not much else. That's about it. Novice Inspector. Oh boy. Well, land and run out the Insidious Roots. See if we can draw some support cards. They really do. I feel like I can't figure out why do you think they made them? The best I can figure is they made them for Commander, but I'm actually not sure. One thing WotC did say that was encouraging. Yeah, I mean, we've played against this deck so many times in a row. Many times in a row. Well, play the land. I guess we'll play this Berserker, so we can second to draw a card. And pass the turn. Well, I'm definitely moving Insidious Roots up my list of cards to brew around. I have heard the feedback. Insidious Roots, Massacre Girl are things that people wanna see. Hey, what's up, Blazing? Felchin, how are you? Case of the Gateway Express. And they get to flip it immediately. This card's actually very strong. Like, it comes down, kills something, and immediately flips. That's actually like, really strong. Oh, we draw a Vile Spawn Spider, so we can play the Vile Spawn Spider. Well, okay, let's play a Dream Root Cascade. Play a Vile Spawn Spider. Play the Soul Cauldron. Exile this thing. Put a counter on the Spider. We're trying. This is where the Immodane Recruiter comes down. We have seen all the ends of... we have seen the last few games just like the two extremes of Standard. It's either like Boros try to kill you on turn 3 or play every Exile Wrath in existence. Sunfair Fellow is fine, but both in the same meta is overkill. Well, I'm sure their original intention was there would be a lot of sets would be rotated when they were designed, but here we are. I'm really curious to see how the Standard stuff shakes out. I kind of feel like odds are in favor of I kind of feel like odds are in favor of Wizards walking back the rotation changes. I don't know. Maybe they just won't no matter what, but I think they will. Yeah. 36 Ras, maybe hoisted by my own petard, one of those situations. I mean, I guess that that meme-ish video did kind of show, like, it's sort of realistic to just play all the Ras, and that was, like, definitely the most over-the-top extreme version of it. Well, let's play this. Surveil 2. Surveil a Berserker, surveil a land. Exile a Berserker to make a plant. Put a counter on the Maverick. Exile the Maverick. Or sack the Maverick, draw a card. Play the land. Exile the Maverick. Put a counter on a plant. Make another plant. And pass the turn. I mean, we got some plants going. I mean, I guess the question's gonna be, does it work? That's gonna be the question. If the changes actually work and more people are playing standard, then by all means keep them. I hope the changes work. I'm just not sure we've seen that happen yet. Like, I don't think we've seen that the changes really have worked. And if they don't work, then, well, I think we have to just, yeah, I don't think, I mean, well, I guess we can take 5 flyers. All right, sure. We drop to 9. Untap. Mill a card. Well, play Aftermath Analysis. Mill a few cards. Play Underground River. I mean, we can get back a bunch of lands. We can do Sky Turtle things. We need to not die to this Warden of the Inner Sky. That's number 1. So exile an Archaeologist. Make a plant. Put a counter on the Analysis. Pass the turn. Pass the turn. So we got to bounce the Warden of the Inner Sky, or it's going to kill us. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They still have a lot of dorks that are pumped by this case. So even bouncing the Warden, we might still die. Yeah, there's not much of a point to growing the spider just because this outscales it, right? Like, we can add a counter to the spider, but they can grow this by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They can grow it by like 4 or 5 a turn or something, or like 4 a turn. So there's just no way we can outscale this at the moment. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, the removal spell off the top. Well, I mean, we can sack it to draw a card. We draw another Soul Cauldron. Are we dead? I think they're... If they just push with everything, we die, right? 1, 2, 3, 4... Oh, they want to flip the case, I see. Well, block you. Block you. Block you. Sky Turtle, we gotta bounce it, but that's our last interaction. This just comes down and grows again, and the case flips. All right, so we kill a couple things. Warden of the Inner Sky's back. 1, 2, 3. How many lands do we have in the graveyard? 3? Yeah, so this thing grows. I mean, we have to hit a removal spell, right? Or we're just dead. I'm wondering, do you have the black enchantment that drains someone when a creature leaves your yard in the deck? I just can't see this deck list on mobile. So this was a deck list that Chant set in, not when I built. No, it doesn't have that in there. I might play. We're definitely gonna brew. I'm going to brew a version of Insidious Roots. Because I've come away from this feeling like Insidious Roots has a lot of potential to do cool things. But there's some things I would definitely change about the deck. So I think... I mean, we gotta just take Sky Turtle, right? Or else we die. Actually, do we die anyway? Are we just gonna die no matter what? Well, we gotta take the Sky Turtle, or we definitely die in the air. So we get back the Sky Turtle. Make another plant. We draw a land that isn't super helpful. Yes, Warden pressuring us in the air is tough. Well, play the land. Well, I guess we just pass. So I think what we do is we just pass. We loop the Sky Turtle as much as possible and then bounce the Warden of the Inner Sky. Our plants are kind of... So we 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. So we can loop it 3 times and then bounce the Warden. And we can exile something with Soul Cauldron. That's not bad. That might be enough. That might be enough. Can exile the spider and make a bunch of tokens. Yeah, that's true. We could make like 5/1/1s. I think this is better though. Especially since we have to bounce the Warden of the Inner Sky. Or we're gonna end up losing. Like this thing does. There's a realistic shot that it just one-shots us here. So I think we have to leave up the removal for that just to make sure we don't die to it. And then I guess our plan is hopefully we can just make a big enough board of stuff that eventually we can attack through. Ooh, is Kadama still in standard, right? You know what would be really good in this situation is Kadama just giving everything with a counter trample. That would actually let us kill our opponent pretty easy. Hey Seth, I need your help. I play Pioneer my LGS, but like 50% of the decks are Rakdos mid-range. What is a cheap way to beat Rakdos while still being competitive with other decks? Huh! Super Jerry guy. I wish I had a great answer for you. Rakdos is, I think, the best deck in Pioneer. It's been the best deck in Pioneer for a while now. And part of what makes Rakdos so tough to beat is it's not doing like one thing that you can really attack easily. Like if you're playing against Hidden Stirrings, you got to shut down the Lotus Field. If you're playing against Amelia combo, you got to, keep the combo pieces off the battlefield. Rakdos is tough because it's kind of just like all the best stuff jammed together. And there's not like one thing you can do to specifically attack it. So I wish I had an answer for you for a deck that would let you beat Rakdos that would also be good against the rest of the meta, because then I'd probably be winning Pro Tours and so forth. that is the question. Opponent taps it. Have you considered playing Rakdos? Beating them at their own game, so to speak. Opponent goes combat, opponent attacks. Well, we will. Okay. So, Colossal Sky Turtle. To get back a Sky Turtle. Colossal Sky Turtle. To get back a Sky Turtle. If they're only hitting us for 6, can we let it go? Colossal Sky Turtle. To get back a Sky Turtle. Can we take this hit? Is it possible? They can't do this at instant speed. If we go to 2, am I missing something? I mean, it would be nice if we didn't have to spend our Sky Turtle on it. What am I missing? Hey, thank you, Cupaka. Welcome to the stream. I appreciate the kind words. So overall, I feel like this deck, to me, it's felt like it can do really cool things, but it's not a very competitive deck. That's my current feeling. My current feeling is the game, like, I guess it's my kind of deck in a sense, where it's a deck that when you do the thing is amazing. It is super cool, super spectacular. What do we already have under that? We already have, okay, let's go with the Vile Spawn Spider, I guess. When it does its thing, it is pretty awesome. But then there's a lot of games where you just kind of run over by people just playing generically good cards or the farewell stuff. So I feel like it's a really cool deck, but probably medium to low in terms of just how competitive it is overall. All right, so we make another plant. We untap. Well, play the Rebel Maverick. I mean, so I think at this point, we just have to try to kill our opponent, right? We're just gonna swing out with everything and hope for the best. I'm not sure what else we can really do. Just make our team as big as possible, and maybe our opponent's gonna have to block a bunch, so we can sack this to draw a card. Oh god. If only we still had it. Okay, wait. So now we're in the same position where we can go infinite, but we die if we go infinite, I think. So tap the plant. Put a counter on whatever. Make a plant. Take down the Tyvar.
Never give up.
Get a archaeologist. Make a plant. Is there a chance we can win this? Ooh, Urborg Repossession. Okay. Urborg Repossession. Kick the... Wow, we're going off. We are fully doing the thing. So now we can Urborg Repossession. So now we can actually just go infinite, right? Actually, no, it's not fully infinite. So add green, add black. So we can get back the turtles, but it's not actually infinite. This also gains us 2 life, which is relevant. So get back a sky turtle. Get back... I mean, I guess this also just wins us the game. Get back a sky turtle, get back a sky turtle. So I guess this also just wins the game by letting us... Wow, opponent scoops it up. Letting us bounce our opponent's flying attacker again. What deck got me out of platinum? I was like almost at Mythic playing Clues and playing a Boros tokens deck that was like Skrelv's Hive and War Leader's Call and Novice Inspector. We've dropped down a little bit, janking around with Insidious Roots here, but yeah, Clues and the token deck. Hey Seth, how are you? Do you think green sucks in 60 card because it's OP in 100 cards and WotC is so scared to print green cards, or is it more because of the removal of the meta and standard? It's so hard to play creature decks. Yeah, I think that green is just an example of a deck that doesn't line up well with standard. Like, it is the absolute worst color because what does green do well, right? Yeah, not Convoke. It was like Skrelv's Hive wedding announcement. Had like a Song of Tatanzan to make a bunch of hasty tokens. It's a fun deck. I'm gonna have a video coming up of that one too. But I think that green is just the perfect example of a deck that does not line up well with our current standard. Like, green's about playing undercosted big creatures. That's essentially green's gimmick, right? Is I'm gonna play these undercosted big bodies. The problem is those bodies just line up very poorly with all the sweepers that we're seeing in standard. All those sweepers are just they're really brutal against decks like that. And all the protection that it has of like, oh, indestructible or whatever, it just doesn't matter in the current standard. So I think green, I would say that it's not that WotC's trying to punish it for being so good in Commander. It's more that it just does not. It's the color that gets hurt the most by the Sunfall Farewell meta. It just kind of gets stomped because of that. Yeah, I actually think that's what happens, right? Like, if you listen to the podcast this week, we talked a little bit about, like, okay, I think Krim was like, well, you know, creatures got power crept, so now because creatures got power crept, they got a power creep Wrath with you know, exile, because I gotta have my exile Wrath, or it's not gonna be good enough. I think that's exactly like how power creep works. Like, so creatures get better, and then because creatures get better, you make Sunfall. But then because you make Sunfall, then you need to print you need to print creatures who are resilient to Sunfall. So you print like stuff that has leave the battlefield triggers rather than death triggers, or you print more phase out because that's the only way to get around it. But then you need to have like, I don't know, you can't phase out and then Wrath. We've even memed about that with Commander. Like, we're getting to the point in Commander where you need to print a spell that's like, creatures can't phase out this turn, and then exile all creatures or something. Because they're just, it's so easy to Teferi's Protection or whatever, and just phase your way out of any issue. So I think that's that's how power creep works, and I know where the end is. That also goes back to something Mega Magikarp said at the beginning of the stream about being worried. Apparently, I don't know Yu-Gi-Oh! Did any of you play Yu-Gi-Oh? So the thing Mega Magikarp was saying early in the stream was that in Yu-Gi-Oh! There was mechanics that like bring things in and out of exile that kind of like broke the game at one point. I don't actually know anything about it because I've never played Yu-Gi-Oh! But I imagine we'll get to the world where Magic has more mechanics that are about taking things in and out of exile. So if you make powerful creatures, so you need to have exile Wrath to deal with the powerful creatures, then you need phasing out to deal with the exile Wrath. Then you need the Wraths that don't let you phase out to deal with the phase out stuff that you printed because of the Wraths that exile because of the powerful creatures. Eventually you get to the point where you're just like, all right, stuff's going to be coming back from exile. And then you probably get to the point where something just breaks eventually. I think you just get to the point where it's just like something cracks in half, and you're like, oh, okay, that's a bummer. How do we avoid death? The age-old question. So if we play Tyvar, it's gonna. Oh my god, are we time? No way. Did they just? What is this on our end stop? What is going on? Okay, we're not dead. I thought they just passed our turn. I was getting very nervous there. All right, let's make some plans. I thought we just timed out and they passed our turn on us. Well, we didn't attack, but that's fine. We got to make plans. That's the most important thing. I was too busy with my little rant about power creep. Yeah, the banished zone in Yu-Gi-Oh, which is equivalent of exile, is interacted with a good amount. Do you think it would Magic? Do we want Magic to have more ways to interact with the exile, or would that be a negative? That's when they start printing removal that puts things in the command zone with a 10-man attacks. Yeah, I mean, eventually you just need another exile zone, right? So you go to exile, and then once... So it used to be the exile was like the no-go zone. Like the graveyard, yeah, you can get stuff out of the graveyard. But then once it goes to exile, it is gone forever. I think eventually you get to the point where exile's like the graveyard, and then you need super exile. Yeah, opponent's got the Urbraz Forge going. I think, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're playing these in the main deck or not. So it's kind of the Boros aggro deck. The Urbraz Forge are interesting, though, for sure. Well, I think we have to... So we can play Tyvar.
This will make a thrilling tale.
We can play an Archaeologist. Mill some cards. We can exile the Berserker. Trigger. Counter. Make a plant. We can take down Typhar.
It's not a victory.
Get back the Berserker. Make a plant. And we'll just back up itself. And then, so Urborg Repossession is plant and land. Okay, so Urborg Repossession with kicker. Plant, so Sky Turtle and land. And we get to make a plant. Then we can pass the turn. And our opponent pretty much has to kill us this turn, right? Like, they need to find a way to pretty much kill us, or we definitely should be able to kill them next turn. Opponent. Tap stuff. I mean, if they have like a burn spell or a bunch of creatures, they might be able to get there. So this is 5 power. They deal 2 damage from the Urbraz Forge, so 6, 7. We're at 11. Yeah, so there's the dork. We dropped to 10. Well, let's see if we survive. This is basically the game. Opponent attacks us. And I mean, you might as well swing with the things because they're gonna. Wow, they don't even swing with them. Well, I guess that probably means we're dead then. If they didn't even, well, I guess it just doesn't matter. They're gonna make him either way. Post combat Immodane's Recruiter. Well, let's see if we can win this game. So we're at 2. Definitely dead next turn. But we untap with a Tyvar. Let's sack this to draw a card. It's a Maverick. So we need straight up lethal here. So, well, play the Maverick. Do some surveilling. We have a new donation. Yeah, opponent's deck does look sweet. Ooh, mill the Maverick. Keep the Archaeologist. Then we can exile the Maverick. Actually, no. Okay, exile the Maverick to put a counter on the other Maverick and make a plant token. And then we have a new donation from... how do we do this? We have to actually win the game. That's the hard part here. That we can sack this to draw a card, which will be the Archaeologist. Then we can play the Archaeologist, which will mill some cards and gets us back another Insidious Roots. Then we can play the land. Tyvar can untap a plant. We can play the Insidious Roots. Oh, we just don't have that many plants. They're not going to get big enough. They're not going to get big enough. So exile a Berserker. Trigger. Double plant. Counter on the Archaeologist. New donation from Fatman Jenkins. $3 donation. I feel like Murders wasn't power creep, but now everyone was saying it's too weak and a flop. Do we want super strong set or no power creep? So I think some amount of power creep is always going to exist in a game like Magic. So there's a some amount of power creep is going to be necessary and healthy, but too much power creep too fast, I think, ends up being an issue. So I think you want power creep, but you want power creep that's... So we tap this for mana. We sack it to draw a card. We Colossal Sky Turtle. We channel it to bounce this thing. We go to combat. I don't think this is enough. Block, block, block. I think we ended up just short here. Opponent blocks everything. Yeah, we needed like another plant. We go to 6, but then our opponent gets us with the forges and the war leader's call. We have a new donation from Atticus Fund Show, $3 donation. Hey Seth, obviously Shieldred is absurdly good. If you could change something about that card that you think would make it more fair, what would you change? I think this one's actually pretty easy. I think Shieldred, so I guess there's a few ways you could do it. I honestly think that for standard, maybe this wouldn't count for commander or whatever, but Kadama would give trample to everything. Yeah, I mean we gotta win that turn because we're gonna die to the war leader's call. Kadama could give us trample. That could be worth it. Well, we're not keeping that. This I guess we keep. We'll put a Vile Spawn to the bottom. Well, all right, let's see. We got some archaeologists. They could find our combo pieces. I think so. One way that you could change Shieldred is just one toughness off of it would actually go a long way towards improving it in standard. If it was a 4/4 instead of a 4/5, obviously, if you want to do even more, you could make it so it only deals like 1 damage instead of 2 damage, something like that. If it was drain for 1, that would really, wow. All right, opponent's off to the super fast start. So it could deal like 1 instead of 2, and it would be way less powerful. It's kind of tough, right? Like Shieldred, it is a this deck would love Satyr Wayfinder, wouldn't it? This deck would really love Satyr Wayfinder. And they have 2 of those too. Jeez, yeah. But we've played this Boros deck so much. I mean, they are living the dream, but it actually does this very consistently. Like, this is not like some 1 in a million draw for our opponent. They do this like a pretty high percentage of the time. This Boros deck, like, this is kind of what it's trying to do. Yeah, but we played. So I will say, I think this deck also maybe got a little unlucky with the matchups. We do see here that if you can't find a Insidious Roots, the deck kinda is very bad. In theory, like Fleet Archaeologists and so forth helps us find them, but without them, pretty much every card in our deck is a it's a banger. They're great, like Rebel Belt Maverick. But it's a lot of cards that if we have Insidious Roots, they do cool things. They're combo pieces essentially. If they have them, they do cool things. If we don't have them, they don't do cool things, and we get absolutely destroyed. And this is the don't have them game. But I will say this deck, I think it got a little tough draw matchup wise, because I think we played 4 matches with this deck, and maybe it was 5, but I know all except one of them were the Boros aggro token deck, which is just like the fastest deck in standard. And the other one was the deck where opponent went Sunfall, Sunfair, Farewell, Path to Peril, or whatever. So it was just like the opposite end of the spectrum. What pre-con deck can you advise for EDH beginners? So really, Wizards does a good job making the pre-cons pretty accessible to new players. So I would say, Sonia, that go with whatever one seems like something you would enjoy playing. If the commander catches your eye, or you like the color combination, really you can't go wrong. If you are interested in a breakdown of like which one is best and what is it, what are they good at, Tomer actually just made a video a couple of days ago that's going through the new Murders at Karlov Manor precons and kind of rating them based on a bunch of different criteria. But yeah, I really don't think you can go too wrong as a new player with the commander precons these days. They're just also strong that you're gonna be fine no matter what. Warren the Inners guy, yeah, to the top, and Urbaz Forge. Yeah, this deck doesn't have sweepers, so we are just pretty dead. So what do we learn? What do we learn about our decks today? What do we learn? So I gotta say, The Clue deck, I know the Clue deck's pretty good overall because I've played it a bunch. I think we went, I don't know, 2-2 maybe, something like that. I think the Insidious Roots deck, it really intrigues me. So I'm sure there are ways we could have played it better at some points with it being kind of an intricate deck that we had never played before. So I'm sure that's something where it's worth practicing. I will say, I think this build, I think it's like medium to low in terms of just how strong it is, but very high in terms of the spectacular things that you can do with the deck. I don't know how it lines up with the Sun Farewell meta we're in, but it can do some really, really cool things. And I definitely came away from it feeling like Insidious Roots itself has a lot of potential, and now I'm really excited to do some Insidious Roots brewing. I was already thinking it would be a cool card, but playing this deck, it's got me convinced that, like, it can do some really, really sweet things. How's the Mythic grind going? Oh, we ended up giving up on that, basically, and playing Jank, and now we're not even especially close to Mythic, so not good, but the good news is we got to do cool things with Insidious Roots, so that's the most important thing. But, yeah, so expect some more Insidious Rootsing in the future. Also expect some Massacre Girl, because we got blown out by that Massacre Girl deck. So I'm sure we'll see that in the future as well. But anyway, everyone, I think that brings us to the end. Yeah, Tortured Existence. You guys, the thing about Insidious Roots, the further back you go, the more synergies there are for the card. So I'm sure we'll find something sweet to do with it. But anyway, everyone, I think that brings us to the end of our stream for today. So replay YouTube for all the old streams, normal YouTube. If you want more Murders at Karlov Manor, definitely check out the YouTube. There's a ton coming out on there, some really cool decks. And one more reminder that our sponsor today is Card Kingdom. And if you need some magical cards, you can get them over at cardkingdom.com/MTG Goldfish. Most importantly, thank you to all of you. Y'all are amazing and awesome and spectacular. And I love y'all so very much. Thanks for hanging out. Y'all are awesome. Have an amazing night. Have a great weekend. I'll see you on Tuesday for some more fun. And check out the YouTube and all that stuff in between. So anyway, everyone, I love y'all. Be good. And I will talk to you soon.